Chapter 95. Chapter 95. Soldiers at the gate. Not good. The city lord's mansion's troops have charged in. It's over. The crown prince hasn't even made a move, but the city lord can't help but want to make a move against us. City lord, please spare my life. What are you crying for? The crown prince wants to slaughter our Blackstone city. Are we just going to stand here and let him do as he pleases? If you're a man, come out and fight him. The sudden appearance of the city lord's soldiers caused the patriarchs of the various families to panic. Some wanted to escape, but most felt that the crown prince was pushing them too far. Their hearts were filled with raging flames of anger. It was still Yi Jian who was the calmest. Sensing the restless emotions of the patriarchs, Yi Jian waved his hand and shouted, "Don't be rash. We haven't figured out the situation yet. Don't misunderstand." Hearing Yi Jian's words, City Lord Zhuang Bufan also cast a look of praise at Yi Jian. He thought to himself, "I thought that other than Yi Fei, there was no one else in the family Yi. Looks like this Yi Jian is also a late bloomer. Family Yi, family heads, please don't misunderstand. I'm on your side. I'm sure you've all heard the news about the crown prince massacring everyone in the city." The city magistrate's mansion was one of those people. When Zhuang Bufan walked in, he told everyone an earth-shattering news. This time, the crown prince didn't even plan to spare the city lord's mansion. If he wanted to massacre the entire city, he would massacre every single person in the city. The faces of many family heads instantly turned pale. No one had thought that the crown prince would be so cruel. He even wanted to kill a city lord who belonged to the imperial court, let alone a small family like theirs. "City lord, what is going on? Even if my family Yi offended the crown prince, he could just come to my family Yi. Why does he have to involve the entire city?" Yi Jian's face was full of anger. He was just like his sword, firm and upright all his life. Hearing Yi Jian's words, many family heads nodded. That's right. Why would the crown prince do such a cruel and inhumane thing? Zhuang Bufan shook his head with an ugly expression. "Don't ask me. Although I'm the city lord, I don't even have the qualifications to meet the duke, let alone the crown prince. I only know that this is not the first time the crown prince massacring a city. Before this, he had massacred a dozen cities. No, it wasn't easy for my Chan clan to develop to where it is now. The clan definitely can't be destroyed in my hands." Hearing Zhuang Bufan's words, the various clan heads panicked even more. Someone immediately suggested in horror, "Why don't we take advantage of the fact that the crown prince's army hasn't arrived and take all our clansmen out of Blackstone City?" "I've already received news that the Duke of Black Forest's army has already surrounded us. If we try to escape, we will only die faster. Then what should we do? How about we go out and plead with the crown prince? It's family Yi who offended him. It has nothing to do with us." Another family head said in horror. Zhuang Bufan shook his head coldly. "If I could plead with the crown prince, do you think I would bring my soldiers here to tell you this? It's over. What should we do now? If we can't plead with the crown prince, we will die if we resist." Many family heads wanted to cry, but no tears came out. They felt like the sky was falling down. Yi Jian finally couldn't stand it anymore. He took a step forward and said, "So what if we die? Yi Fei always said that a man should not be humiliated. I will kill whoever humiliates me. Since the crown prince won't let us go, then we can only fight to the death. Yes, fight to the death. Even if we die, our Li family will bite off a piece of flesh from the crown prince. The crown prince is pushing us too far. Then let's fight to the death. City Lord Zhuang, family Yi, give the order. Our Zhou family will fight with you. Fight to the death. Our Blackrock City still has Yi Fei. Even if we die, as long as a genius like Yi Fei doesn't die, they will avenge us in the future. Even a rabbit would bite when cornered. Not to mention the martial artist families present. They were all filled with righteous indignation and were determined to fight to the death with the crown prince. However, they still couldn't figure out why the crown prince, as the ruler of a country, would do such a despicable thing. It would cause resentment among the people. Not only did the families of Blackrock City not understand, even the second-rank prince of Black Forest, who had brought his soldiers to Blackrock City, had the same doubts in his heart. Only the crown prince, Zhao Ji, had a satisfied and cruel smile on his face. Many people in Zhao City knew that he cultivated an evil cultivation method. However, few people knew that he cultivated the blood demon cultivation method that Zhao Qianjun had cultivated. This cultivation method didn't absorb the yuan qi of heaven and earth. It absorbed the blood essence and resentment of people. This was also the reason why Zhao Qianjun had been so bloodthirsty in the past. He had slaughtered 100,000 soldiers with one strike. Unfortunately, although Zhao Ji cultivated the blood demon cultivation method, he didn't have the ability to slaughter 100,000 soldiers like Zhao Qianjun. All he could do was constantly find weak targets and slaughter them. This way, he could collect resentment bit by bit and use it to quickly increase his strength. Even Zhao Ji's perverted hobby was just a cover for his practice of killing people. After all, only by constantly toying with other people's wives and daughters and bullying those weak families would these people be angry and resist. At this time, Zhao Ji could use this as an excuse to wipe out the entire family and slaughter people in the city. He would constantly create more resentment and increase his strength rapidly. Reporting, Your Highness, the scouts at the front have already approached Blackrock City. They found that the city gates are tightly shut and the supplies for the defense of the city are being moved inside. As the army approached Blackrock City, the scouts at the front had already returned with information about Blackrock City. They reported the situation to the Crown Prince and the County King. Hearing that Blackrock City was prepared, the County King's face turned ugly. He hurried to the Crown Prince's carriage and said, Your Highness, although this place is remote, there are still tens of thousands of people. If we forcefully attack the city, it will be very dangerous. Do you think we should try to divide them and get some people to defect and become our spies? Shut up. County King Black Forest, remember this. You're just a dog by my side. When I do something, it's not up to a dog like you to remind me. Pass down my orders. Attack the city immediately. The more people die, the happier I will be, and the more credit you'll get, dog. Crown Prince Zhao Ji's face was vicious. He didn't care about how many people would die. Beside Zhao Ji sat a eunuch in the attire of a eunuch. When he heard that the small Blackrock City had tens of thousands of people, the eunuch's face revealed a perverted excitement. Hee, tens of thousands of people. Your Highness, we're in luck this time. You secretly cultivated Zhao Qianjuan's demonic blood technique. What you need the most is blood qi and resentment. If you slaughter tens of thousands of people in this city, you might even break through to the martial ancestor realm. The old eunuch complimented. Of course, my brothers and sisters only thought that I cultivated an ordinary demonic technique. Who would have thought that I would have the opportunity to obtain part of the evil demonic Sword King's inheritance? I hate that servant called Yi Fei and that bitch Xiao Yu for ruining my plans. Otherwise, why would I need to massacre the city? As long as I enter the Sword King mystery realm, I'll immediately become the new evil demonic Sword King. The 9 sects and 4 prefectures of Zhao Kingdom will all have to submit to me. Ha ha ha, he. Zhao Ji and the old eunuch laughed coldly and cruelly, as if they had already thought of the great harvest after slaughtering Blackrock City. Soon after, the sound of a woman sobbing could be heard from the carriage. This woman was none other than the most beautiful and voluptuous consort of the second-rank prince of Black Forest. She was also the birth mother of the 2 brothers, Wang Ming and Wang Liang. Now, she was naked and was being tossed into the carriage by Zhao Ji. He could play with her and step on her whenever he wanted. If Wang Ming and Wang Liang knew about this, they would probably die of anger in the underworld. However, as the consort's husband, the second-ranked prince of Black Forest did not care about this at all. He even felt proud that he could befriend the crown prince by using a woman and even become his trusted lackey. From this, it could be seen how crazy the second-ranked prince of Black Forest was for his own glory and wealth. Hearing that the crown prince was going to attack the city at all costs, the second-rank prince of Black Forest's face became even more ferocious. Like a mad dog, he strode to the outside of Blackrock City and yelled, "People of Blackrock City, listen up. The crown prince is here. Why aren't you opening the city gates and kneeling to welcome him?" The second-rank prince of Black Forest still had the idea of opening the city gates by deceiving them. Perhaps some naive families would be naive enough to be spies for the second-rank prince of Black Forest. However, this kind of situation was still possible when Zhao Ji massacred the previous few cities. When they heard from Zhuang Bufan that the crown prince had already used all kinds of excuses to massacre more than a dozen cities, men, women, old, and young, not sparing even a chicken or a dog, even the most naive of clans would give up on this idea. Second-rank prince of Black Forest, don't talk nonsense. If you want to slaughter the city, come at me. We are all good men in Blackrock City, unlike a coward like you who is willing to be a dog. Chapter 96. The whole city collapsed as he spoke. Zhuang Bufan knocked an arrow on his bow. The arrowhead carried a violent lightning bolt as it smashed into the soldiers outside the city, turning one of them into charcoal on the spot. This also ignited the anger of the Duke of Black Forest. He waved his hand and ordered the soldiers around him, "Kill your way in. The crown prince has ordered that except for the family Yes people, kill everyone else. The wealth and women inside will be divided equally among you." Roar. Wealth moved people's hearts. Although the so-called massacre of the city was cruel, it was also an opportunity to make a fortune. The thousands of soldiers of the Duke of Black Forest were all excited. Of course, these soldiers were not ordinary soldiers. They were all martial artists, ranging from the third stage of the martial path to the martial master realm. Even if there were only thousands of them, when they charged together, they gave off the feeling of an army with thousands of men and horses. Spearmen, target outside the city. Kill them indiscriminately. Yi Jian and the other family heads reacted quickly. The Blackstone City was close to the Blackstone mountain range. The land was poor, and the people lived in danger. It was hard to make a living. Almost every family had elite warriors who hunted beasts and demonic beasts, although there were only a few hundred of them. The power of throwing out hundreds of spears was still terrifying. Especially when both sides of the battle were warriors, the destructive power was even more shocking. Yi Jian took the lead and lifted a huge iron spear that weighed 50 jin. He threw it forward with all his might, and a dozen or so soldiers who were attacking the city were pierced into a straight line. Kill! Kill! Zhou Guang and Yi Chao cooperated with each other and lifted two huge rocks that weighed a few thousand jin. They threw them at the two siege wagons near the city gate. The wagons were destroyed in an instant, along with dozens of low-level warriors. All of them were smashed into meat paste. The other big families also sent people to help. Although there were less than 1,000 warriors in the Blackrock City, they relied on the strong city walls and fought with all their might. The soldiers outside the city could not get close to the city walls. Rice bucket, what are you doing? All of you attack. This king will personally attack. This king wants to see how long you lowly commoners can resist this king's army. After fighting for a long time without success, Prince Blackwood was completely enraged. The tenacity of the clans of Blackstone City was somewhat beyond his expectations. Fearing that the crown prince would blame him, the second-rank Black Forest had no choice but to do it himself. He released the strength of a martial master LV3. Although he couldn't fly, he still stepped on a ladder. His body was like a spring, instantly reaching the city wall that was more than 10 meters high. Your Highness is mighty. Kill your way into the city. Men, women, old, and young, leave no one alive. The actions of the Black Forest Sovereign King gave the soldiers outside a huge boost of morale. They charged even more crazily, and ladder after ladder rapidly began to be built on top of the city walls. Don't let them come up, Zhuang Bufan. You guard the city gate. We will deal with that prince. At this moment, the second-rank Black Forest, who had rushed up, relied on his invincible strength of a martial master LV3. Many of the soldiers outside began to rush up the ladder. Yi Jian didn't dare to let the situation continue to develop. He could only lead Yi Chao, Zhou Guang, and a dozen or so family heads to rush over there, desperately trying to block the gap. Yi Jian, you all take care of yourselves. All soldiers, smash the city gate with all your might. Don't let them destroy it. As Zhuang Bufan spoke, an astonishing aura suddenly appeared on his body. The aura of a martial master. Zhuang Bufan, the city lord of Blackstone City, had actually broken through the shackles and reached the martial master realm at this critical moment of life and death. However, he didn't have time to be happy. He only jumped down from the city wall with bloodshot eyes to stop the experts from destroying the city gate. Suddenly, the sound of killing shook the sky inside and outside the city walls of Blackstone City. The blood and resentment of countless people who had died formed a thin blood mist that slowly spread out. When he saw the blood mist, Zhao Ji's eyes were filled with desire and excitement. Under the influence of the blood mist, the killing between the two sides became even more tragic and desperate. The second-rank Black Forest's face was full of disdain. He stared at Yi Jian and the other family heads who were rushing up and laughed sinisterly. You're like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. The crown prince wants to kill you. How dare you resist? If we don't resist, do you think we could be like you and be a coward? The Zhou family head casually cursed. He didn't expect that he would hit the nail on the head and hit the point where the second-rank Black Forest was most vulnerable. Although he was willing to give his wives and concubines to the crown prince for glory and wealth, as a man, the second-rank Black Forest still felt deeply humiliated. Now that the Zhou family head had cursed him, the second-rank Black Forest was immediately enraged. Die! The second-rank Black Forest rushed up and smashed the Zhou family head's head with his palm. Yi Chao, Yi Jian, and Zhou Guang, the three martial masters, were unable to stop him. After all, the second-rank Black Forest strength was at LV3 martial master realm. He was invincible in Blackstone City. If anyone wanted to stop him, they would have to pay a heavy price. Kill him, for our descendants. That's right, our descendants will avenge us. Second-rank Black Forest, Crown Prince, even if we die, we will drag you down with us. The death of the Zhou family head didn't frighten the families in Blackstone City. Instead, they continued to charge forward recklessly. They fought desperately with the second-rank Black Forest and the soldiers of the prince's mansion. It was not that these families were fearless, but they knew that if they resisted, they would die. If they didn't resist, they would die faster. Fortunately, the families had sent their best descendants out of Blackstone City in advance and let them escape to the Blackstone Mountains to take refuge. The longer the families fought, the more chances they could create for their descendants to survive. At this time, the families in Blackstone City had to unite and resist with all their might. Your Highness, the families in Blackstone City are really resilient. Ever since I followed Your Highness, I have slaughtered many cities. However, this is the first time I have seen a family that dares to fight with their lives on the line. The old eunuch praised the bloody scene on the city wall. Zhao Ji's face was cold. He shook his head in disdain and said, "The mountains are barren and the land is dangerous. Unruly people are indeed everywhere. However, this is good. The more they resist, the more blood and resentment they will have after death. The blood mist on the battlefield is gathering too slowly. Eunuch Zhang, I will have to trouble you to kill all the untouchables who are still resisting. Then, let the army enter the city and kill all the ordinary untouchables. I can't wait to use the resentment of these untouchables to break through to the martial ancestor realm." After speaking, Crown Prince Zhao Ji had already kicked the naked princess consort out of the carriage, causing the woman to cover her body in shame and embarrassment. She kept sobbing as she lost all face. Inside the carriage, Zhao Ji had a vicious expression. He sat cross-legged and prepared to activate the demonic blood technique to absorb the blood and resentment on the battlefield. Eunuch Zhang laughed sinisterly. His body rose into the air, and he charged toward the city wall where the fighting was still going on. The entire Blackstone city was in chaos because of Eunuch Zhang's actions. Everyone could clearly see that Eunuch Zhang had actually soared into the air without any external help. The city lord, Zhuang Bufan, could not help but cry out in fear. Heavens, is it a martial ancestor or a martial honorable? You are like immortals, and yet you want to interfere with the grudges of the secular world? What? A martial ancestor is going to intervene? All the surviving family heads in Blackstone City felt as if they had been struck by lightning. They had already used all their strength to stop the Black Forest County Prince, who was a third-grade martial master, and there were countless casualties. If a martial ancestor expert intervened at this time, the consequences would be unimaginable. It's over. Our Blackstone City is completely finished. It's all Yi Fei's fault. He has brought disaster to our Blackstone City. Rumble. Before these people could finish complaining, suddenly, a thunderous roar came from the distant sky. It was a huge, strange bird with flashing lightning on its head. It was flying rapidly from the distant sky. Yi Fei stood on the head of the strange bird. His eyes were filled with anger as he stared at the Blackstone City that was almost dyed red with blood. This is my hometown. This is my hometown where I was born and raised. Chapter 97. Chapter 97. Make a strong return. Crown Prince Zhao Ji, I will take your life today. Yi Fei roared angrily. The moment the strange bird flew over the city wall, he had already jumped onto the city wall. He didn't know who Zhao Ji was, but he saw a man in a royal robe beating Yi Jian up until he spat out blood. Yi Fei's eyes instantly turned red. A terrifying sword radiance, along with a terrifying devouring sword essence, slashed out fiercely. One could imagine how shocked the county king of Black Forest was when he saw this scene, especially when he discovered that Yi Fei was actually a 6th-level martial master. The second-ranked Black Forest, who is only a 3rd-level martial master, was completely frightened. 6th level of the martial master realm. You're just a little servant from Wu province. How could you be at the 6th level of the martial master realm? Don't kill me. This king doesn't want to die. Boom. The sword intent was merciless and carried all of Yi Fei's anger. This sword was earth-shattering and incomparably resplendent. Half of the city wall could not withstand the pressure of this sword intent and began to shake violently. All of a sudden, a strong sense of regret and unwillingness arose in the heart of the second-ranked prince of Black Forest. He was unwilling to die like this. However, in the face of the powerful, devouring sword essence, even a martial arts grandmaster of Wu province might not be able to withstand it, let alone a low-level martial arts master like the second-ranked prince of Black Forest. The sword radiance flashed and instantly cut the second-ranked prince of Black Forest's body into 2 halves from head to toe. Finally, it penetrated the bodies of more than 10 masters from the prince's mansion behind him before it slowly dissipated. Yi Fei's sword not only killed the second-ranked prince of Black Forest, but also killed all the masters who followed the second-ranked prince of Black Forest up the wall. Everyone was shocked. This was Yi Fei's sword. The entire battlefield became so quiet that one could hear a pin drop after Yi Fei swung his sword. It was not until Yi Fei kicked County Lord Black Forest's corpse into 2 halves that the soldiers outside realized what had happened. The Duke has died in battle. Together with all the experts of the prince's mansion, they were all killed by that young man. Oh my God, this can't be real. Blackstone City is too terrifying. Putting aside the fact that everyone was fighting to the death, there was also a hidden expert like Yi Fei. The soldiers from Black Forest County no longer had their previous fanaticism. Instead, their faces were filled with fear. Retreat. They retreated again and again. No one knew who took the lead, but fear made the soldiers of the prince's mansion retreat in fear. No one dared to rashly attack Blackrock City again. Inspiring. Their enthusiasm was boiling. Yi Fei's mansion ants. Black Forest mansions, Black Forest, forest. Yi Fei's Black Forest, Prince's mansions, Black Yi Fei's Black 6, martial masters, S masters master yeses 6 masters as master level master was masters. He was actually a 6th grade martial master expert. He had even killed the Black Forest monarch with a single sword strike and forced the thousands of soldiers to continuously retreat. After the shock was Yi Lin Yi. S's. S longs. Yi Fei is back. Young master has come back to save us. Yi Fei, why did you come back? Don't you know that the crown prince wanted to massacre the city to force you to show yourself? Yi Jian's face was filled with displeasure. He would rather die than let Yi Fei suffer any harm. Yi Fei looked at Yi Jian seriously and said, Uncle Jian, what are you saying? You're my family. Even if there's a bottomless abyss in front of me, I won't let any harm come to you. Bastard, you're just throwing your life away. Yi Jian was furious. Even if I die, I won't let anything happen to you, Uncle Jian. Yi Fei raised his head, his eyes filled with determination. He pointed at the corpse on the ground and said, Anyway, I've already killed the crown prince. Who else dares to harm my family, Yi? Puffed. Zhao Yu chuckled when she heard this. She suddenly felt that Yi Fei was a little silly and a little cute. She lightly jumped down from the Thunderbird, pointed outside, and shook her head. Yi Fei, can you see clearly? You didn't kill the crown prince. You only killed his lackey, the Black Forest County prince. What? The Black Forest County prince? Damn, I actually killed the wrong person. Yi Fei was also very depressed when he heard this. He looked at the person wearing the royal robe and thought that it was the crown prince. It turned out that he was mistaken. City Lord Zhuang Bufan was even more depressed when he heard this. He thought to himself, could it be that this kid really came back to kill the crown prince? But with his strength, it's too whimsical. The difference between him and the crown prince is like the difference between the clouds and mud. However, before Zhuang Bufan could catch up with Yi Fei, the besieging soldiers retreated in a panic when they heard that the Black Forest County prince had been killed. In the carriage, the crown prince and eunuch Zhang, who were preparing to absorb resentment to cultivate, were both furious, especially when they saw that Princess Zhao Yu had also appeared at the top of the Black Rock City's walls. Their anger increased by 100-fold. Crown Prince Zhao Ji's gaze suddenly became malicious. Eunuch Zhang was so angry that he stepped on the void and walked toward Zhao Yu. He said, Disgraceful! Disgraceful! Zhao Yu, as a princess of the imperial family, you actually colluded with the rebels and went against the crown prince. Even if I kill you today, the palace will have nothing to say. How dare you, Eunuch Zhang? Is my granddaughter someone you can hit and scold as you please? The old city lord appeared with a long roar. He also stepped on the void and was extremely domineering. Ha! So it's the city lord of Tianyan Wufu who has come in person. What's the matter? Is the Tianyan Wufu trying to stop me from killing the rebels? Crown Prince Zhao Ji finally walked out of the carriage. He looked at the old city lord with a cold expression. Zhao Ji was extremely displeased that the old city lord was talking to someone with his head held high. In his eyes, everyone should bow down to him. It would be best if they were lying on the ground like a dog. So you're Zhao Ji, the mastermind behind the plot against me. Yi Fei jumped down from the city wall and walked toward Zhao Ji with a murderous look on his face. It was Zhao Ji who had threatened to destroy the family Yi and massacre the entire city. Even if he was the crown prince, Yi Fei would never forgive him. The crown prince looked at Yi Fei curiously. Then, his face was full of disdain. You're the servant called Yi Fei? You've obtained the Sword King's inheritance, but your strength is still so trashy. Or I do trash like you have to speak to me. Yi Fei said coldly, I'm just a servant. I'm better than a cold-blooded beast like you. I heard that you even practice demonic arts. It's no wonder that you've turned into this hideous monster. How dare you? How dare a lowly commoner insult me? Eunuch Zhang, break his limbs and make him kneel before me. Crown Prince Zhao Ji was furious. When it came to bickering, Yi Fei was not the only one who could deal with the 10 crown princes. Yes, Eunuch Zhang had long disliked Yi Fei. Of course, he could not rule out the possibility that Yi Fei had obtained the Sword King's inheritance. He was filled with intense jealousy. Hence, Eunuch Zhang instantly made his move. He was in the air, but his large hand was already moving toward Yi Fei with a black wind. Yi Fei was not afraid. He did not even bother to lift his eyelids. The old city lord's angry roar could be heard in the air. Eunuch Zhang, if you dare to harm Yi Fei or I'll kill you. I'll grind your bones to dust. When Eunuch Zhang heard this, his duck-like voice pierced through the air. He rebuked sharply, Tsing Fan, you old fool, don't forget how your daughter was sent to the palace back then. I was the one who defeated you and captured your daughter to become a concubine. You were no match for me back then, and it's even more impossible now. All right, haven't you always wanted to know the cause of Tsang Fei's death? That's right, I caused her death. She shouldn't have peeped on the crown prince's cultivation. That's a capital offense, a crime that will wipe out all 9 generations of your family. You old fool, instead of hiding in Wu province for so many years, you still dare to come out and seek your own death. I'll kill you first today, and then I'll destroy Tianyin Wufu. Eunuch Zhang's words were vicious. He was deliberately angering the old city lord and causing him to lose his composure. The old city lord was enraged when he heard this, but his strength did not decline. Instead, it grew stronger. This was all thanks to the martial king's notes that Yi Fei had given to the old city lord. He had benefited greatly from them. Eunuch Zhang, die for me. Kill, kill, kill. May the heavens and earth destroy you. The old city lord unleashed his invincible might. His rage made him more courageous as he fought. He actually forced Eunuch Zhang, who was half a step into the martial venerable realm, to retreat. How is this possible? How is this possible? Tsang Fan, you were severely injured by me 20 years ago. You should have been stuck at the 10th level of the martial grandmaster realm forever, unable to advance any further. How did you suddenly step into the realm of a half-step martial venerable? Eunuch Zhang's relaxed expression was no longer there. Chapter 98. Chapter 98 against the crown prince. Following the intervention of the 2 half-step martial highnesses, the entire battlefield instantly became silent. Everyone raised their heads to watch the battle in the sky. Once the battle between the 2 experts was decided, it would be the deciding factor of the battle. However, the strength of the old mansion master and Eunuch Zhang were too close. If they wanted to determine the victor, it would not be done in a short period of time. And during this period of time, Yi Fei actually had a lot of things he could do. He could use them to reverse the situation of family Yi in Blackrock City. Slowly retracting his gaze, Yi Fei looked at Zhao Yu standing beside him and asked, I didn't expect a princess like you to suffer so much. Why didn't you tell me before you came? Zhao Yu rolled his eyes and said, What's the point of telling you? Of course it works. I can help you kill this crown prince. Yi Fei cannot help but blurt out. His concerned tone caused a hint of panic to flash through Zhao Yu's eyes, and a blush crept on her beautiful face that was covered by a veil. However, these Yi Fei were destined not to be able to appreciate them. Before Zhao Yu could say anything, Crown Prince Zhao Yu, who was not far away, saw that Yi Fei and Zhao Yu actually dared to ignore him, the Crown Prince, and talk to each other. His lungs were about to explode from anger. Zhao Yu, you lowly servant girl, don't tell me you've taken a fancy to this servant. If you don't want this trash servant to die too miserably, then take off your clothes right now and crawl to this prince's side. Crown Prince Zhao Ji was simply insane. Not only did he play with other people's wives and daughters, he even dared to lay his hands on his half-sister. Zhao Yu was so angry that his body was trembling. He was about to go up and fight Zhao Yu when Yi Fei quickly stopped him and said, Don't be rash. He's deliberately provoking you. You're no match for him. If I'm not a match for him, then are you? Zhao Yu said angrily. Crown Prince Zhao Ji's words were too vicious and shameless. Yi Fei said in a deep voice, No one can insult my family and companions. Even if he is the Crown Prince, I can kill him with one strike of my sword. One sword was enough. Everyone present was shocked by Yi Fei's words. He wanted to kill the Crown Prince with a single strike. How confident, how domineering, and how lofty was that? Even Zhao Yu was taken aback. Then, She subconsciously thought that Yi Fei was being impulsive because he was angry at the crown prince for saying such vulgar things to her. Zhao Yu blushed even more. Yi Fei, Yi Fei, young master, kill the crown prince and avenge our dead clansmen. The members of the family, Yi roared in anger. Soon after, all the clans in Haishi City roared in anger. This time, they had suffered too many casualties. This debt of blood must be paid by the crown prince. Crown Prince Zhao Ji, do you dare to fight? Yi Fei did not disappoint. He pointed his spirit-devouring sword at Zhao Ji. His aura was like a rainbow as he walked toward Zhao Ji. With every step he took, his aura would increase. His killing intent was like a tidal wave, intimidating the surrounding soldiers. They were so frightened that they took a step back. They couldn't be blamed. The scene of Yi Fei killing all the experts in the Wang residence with a single strike was too shocking. A bunch of good-for-nothings. You guys don't even have a right to be my dogs. Zhao Ji was enraged. He ruthlessly slapped a few soldiers who were retreating. These people were slapped so hard that their bodies flew uncontrollably towards Yi Fei. Their bodies exploded in midair, forming a terrifying mist of blood that spread in all directions. Zhao Yu exclaimed, "This is Zhao Qianjuan's blood demon art. So that's how it is. Zhao Ji, you actually secretly learned this most evil art. That's why you killed my mother to silence her." Kiki, that's right. This is the evil demon Sword King's strongest blood demon art. Zhao Yu, why else would I want to enter the Sword King mystic realm? Anyone who dares to obstruct me from obtaining the Sword King's inheritance must die. Zhao Ji's eyes were fierce. Seeing that his art had been exposed, he might as well completely activate the blood demon art. A large blood-red cloud began to spread with Zhao Ji as the center. The nearby soldiers who had not gone far screamed as soon as they came into contact with the blood mist. Their flesh and blood rotted away, revealing their white bones. In the end, they completely turned into clouds of blood and merged into the blood mist. This is bad. The crown prince has gone mad. The other soldiers were horrified. No one expected the crown prince to be so savage. He had killed his own people before the battle even began. Many of the families in Blackrock City were glad that they did not surrender to the crown prince. Instead, they chose to resist. Otherwise, they would have died miserably in the hands of the savage Zhao Ji. Yi Fei, be careful. This is the territory of the blood demon art's blood demon art. As long as he is in the blood mist, Zhao Ji's strength will increase greatly. Zhao Yu's expression was extremely solemn. The Zhao royal family had the most accurate records of the evil demon Sword King, who had once turned the royal family upside down. Of course, this included the blood demon art. Blood demon art's territory? This demonic art is quite interesting. When Yi Fei heard Zhao Yu's warning, he realized that Zhao Ji, who was originally a 10th grade martial master, had more than doubled his aura after entering the blood mist territory. He was almost half a step away from reaching the level of a martial ancestor. Seeing that Yi Fei knew that this was the blood demon art's territory and still dared to barge in unguarded, Zhao Ji nodded at Yi Fei. I have to admit that although you are trash, your courage is quite rare. Yi Fei, I'll give you a chance. Hand over the Sword King's inheritance, kneel down, and swear to be a dog by my side for all eternity. If you do, I can spare your life. Are you done with your nonsense? If these are your last words, then you can die. Yi Fei did not stop walking as he continued to walk towards the crown prince. He was accumulating his sword intent. At the same time, he was also looking for the fastest and most ruthless opportunity to strike. He wanted to kill with this strike. Trash, you're courting death. As a crown prince, I am willing to recruit a trash like you. What kind of grace is this? How dare you not appreciate it? Since that is the case, I will first break your limbs. Then, I will torture everyone in the family Yi to death in front of you. Let's see if you will speak when the time comes. Crown Prince Zhao Ji was enraged. He opened his hand, and it turned into a strange, bloody palm. Layer by layer, he slapped at Yi Fei. 18 layers of blood waves. Boom, boom, boom. The sky was filled with terrifying bloody palm prints. Layer by layer, they slapped at Yi Fei's body. Before the bloody palm prints arrived, the surrounding space was affected and started to shake violently. When Yi Jian and the others saw this scene, their expressions changed. Only now did they realize how terrifying Crown Prince Zhao Ji's talent was. Not only had he become a 10th grade martial master at such a young age, but he had also become a 10th grade martial master. What was even more terrifying was that the blood demon art was ridiculously strong. Even a martial master of the same realm as Zhao Ji might not be able to block this demonic art, let alone low-grade martial masters like them. This was because the blood demon art was an earth-grade cultivation technique. How could Yi Fei, who was only a 6th grade martial master, withstand such a cultivation technique? Everyone in Blackrock City started to look nervous. Zhao Yu looked at Yi Fei with a hint of worry. Then, Zhao Yu saw a scene that shocked her so much that she could not close her mouth. Faced with such a terrifying, bloody palm print, Yi Fei did not even look at it. His footsteps did not stop as he continued walking toward Zhao Ji. What is he trying to do? Yi Fei, are you crazy? That's the blood demon art, an earth-grade cultivation technique. Everyone in the family Yi and Zhao Yu could not understand. Zhao Ji, on the other hand, was ecstatic. Haha, trash. Do you think that my blood demon art is just for show? Get ready to suffer my torture. Boom, boom, boom. The bloody palm prints that filled the sky smashed fiercely onto Yi Fei's body at an even faster speed. At that moment, Yi Fei moved. The corners of his mouth curled into a faint smile. Is the blood demon art that amazing? Now let me show you what a true demonic cultivation technique is. Chapter 99. Yi Fei's strength demonic chi boiled, like the sea in the abyss. Yi Fei activated the Devil Emperor scripture, and a dark golden luster appeared on his body. The golden body of the war demon appeared, and Yi Fei's defense immediately reached the limit of the martial master realm. Boom, boom, boom. Countless bloody palm prints slammed onto Yi Fei's body. Each palm print was enough to turn an ordinary 6th grade martial master expert into meat paste. However, when they landed on Yi Fei's body, they had no effect at all. Just think about it. Yi Fei could even use the golden body of the war demon to resist the attack of Li Xiaotian, a martial ancestor expert. Furthermore, Crown Prince Zhao Ji was only a 10th grade martial master. Unless he had an attack power that surpassed the martial ancestor realm, he could forget about breaking Yi Fei's golden body of the war demon. No, this can't be true. What kind of cultivation technique is trash like you cultivating? It can actually resist the earth-rank blood demon art. This crown prince doesn't believe it. This crown prince refuses to accept it. Die, blood demon hand. Seeing that the bloody palm prints were unable to harm Yi Fei, Zhao Ji was so jealous that he almost went crazy. Such a cultivation technique should belong to a high and mighty crown prince like him. How could a lowly servant disciple possess a cultivation technique stronger than his? Unbearable. The vicious Zhao Ji immediately activated the blood demon art to its limit. The bloody mist that filled the sky also gathered in Zhao Ji's palm. In the end, it transformed into a bloody ghost-faced skeleton that grinned maliciously as it was struck out by Zhao Ji. It really is the blood demon hand. Yi Fei, be careful. Zhao Yu couldn't help but exclaim. According to the records of the imperial family, once the blood demon art was fully mastered, it could form the most terrifying blood demon hand. However, it was extremely difficult to fully master the blood demon art. Even Zhao Qianjun had only fully mastered the blood demon art after reaching the martial ancestor realm. Zhao Ji, on the other hand, had actually reached the martial master realm. Yi Fei had no choice but to admit that Zhao Ji's talent in cultivating demonic cultivation methods was truly monstrous. If his luck was a bit better and he obtained the Sword King's inheritance, then Zhao Ji would very likely become the new demonic Sword King. It's a pity that you met me. I don't care if you're a crown prince or an evil demon. Those who offend my friends and family will be punished no matter how far away they are. Devouring sword intent shatter. Yi Fei strode forward. Finally, when he was 10 steps away from Zhao Ji, he pulled out the Devourer's sword. A terrifying sword intent soared into the sky. Then, a dazzling sword light, which carried Yi Fei's anger and killing intent, shattered the void and forcibly created a small black hole. The black hole then swallowed Zhao Ji's blood devil hand. What? Zhao Ji was almost scared out of his wits. Sword intent. This was actually real sword intent. Compared to the sword intent, his blood devil hand was as weak as paper and was instantly devoured. Zhao Ji felt a sharp pain in his chest. The spirit-devouring sword had pierced through his shoulder in an instant. A huge force came crashing down. Kneel down. Yi Fei did not kill Zhao Ji with a single strike. Instead, when he saw the old manor head locked in battle in the sky, a thought occurred to him, and he came up with a better idea. Zhao Ji could not resist at all. When the spirit-devouring sword pierced through his shoulder, he could not help but kneel down. By the time he reacted, the crown prince had been forced to kneel in front of Yi Fei. He was kneeling at the feet of the servant disciple that Zhao Ji despised the most. Humiliation, a great humiliation. Well, had the crown prince ever suffered such humiliation? The humiliation made Zhao Ji roar like a beast. Arg, lowly commoner, how dare you injure me and make me kneel to a lowly commoner like you? So what if you kneel? Aren't you high and mighty? Now, I'll let you have a taste of being humiliated by the servant disciple that you despise the most. After saying that, Yi Fei slapped Zhao Ji hard across the face. Zhao Ji's blood and teeth flew out together. He sprawled on the ground before he could activate the blood demon skill to resist. Yi Fei's foot had already stepped heavily on half of Zhao Ji's face. Zhao Ji's face turned the color of a pig's liver. Then it turned ashen. It was as if he could see countless people laughing and humiliating him from afar. The intense anger and resentment made Zhao Ji spit out blood continuously. Yi Fei also stepped on Zhao Ji's face firmly, not giving him a chance to resist. Then, Yi Fei looked up at the sky and shouted, "Old eunuch, I've already captured the crown prince. I don't want anything to happen to your master. From now on, you're not allowed to fight back in your battle with the old mansion master." What? The crown prince has been captured and is being stepped on? How dare you humiliate the crown prince like this? Kid, I think you're courting death. Eunuch Zhang almost vomited blood when he saw the crown prince's miserable state. He didn't understand. Was the crown prince a pig? A 10-stage martial master had actually lost to a 6-stage martial master. Moreover, he had lost in such a miserable state. Of course, if Eunuch Zhang knew that Yi Fei had even killed a 1st-stage martial ancestor, he wouldn't think that the crown prince had lost so miserably. Instead, he would rejoice that Yi Fei hadn't killed the crown prince yet. "Crown prince, I'm coming to save you." Eunuch Zhang couldn't be bothered to continue arguing with the old mansion master. After all, the crown prince was the crown prince. If anything happened to the crown prince, Eunuch Zhang couldn't bear the responsibility. Eunuch Zhang, save me. Kill this lowly commoner for me. I'll kill his entire family. Zhao Ji was furious. His entire face was distorted by Yi Fei's stomp. This was the greatest humiliation he could never wash away in his life. Yi Fei's eyes turned cold when he saw that Zhao Ji still didn't repent. He suddenly flicked the devouring spirit sword that had pierced the crown prince's shoulder. Kacha! Zhao Ji's shoulder was broken by Yi Fei's sword. The crown prince's arm flew out along with it. The intense pain caused Zhao Ji's entire body to twitch. Yi Fei's viciousness shocked everyone present. Before Eunuch Zhang came down, he was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then he was completely enraged. "Brat, I'm going to tear you into pieces." A terrifying, murderous aura enveloped the area. This was the fury of a half-step martial honorable. This fury was enough to raze Blackrock City to the ground. The people of Blackrock City were shocked. Many of the weaker cultivators were already lying on the ground, vomiting blood, when they felt Eunuch Zhang's terrifying aura. Yi Fei wasn't afraid at all. He gently flicked the devouring spirit sword, and stabbed it into Zhao Ji's other arm. He said viciously, "Old eunuch, I dare you to take a step closer. Mansion master, why aren't you attacking? If this old eunuch dares to retaliate, I'll chop off the crown prince's arm." Pooh! When Zhao Ji heard Yi Fei's vicious and shameless threat, he was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. The blood dyed the ground red. Eunuch Zhang was so angry that his entire body trembled. He pointed at Yi Fei in the air. He was so angry that he couldn't speak. "Daughter, I've taken revenge for you. Eunuch Zhang, die." The old mansion master's eyes shot out two terrifying beams of blood-red light. After Yi Fei's reminder, the old mansion master's eyes turned bloodshot. He charged at Eunuch Zhang like a madman. "Sung Fan, you old fool, how dare you hurt me?" Eunuch Zhang subconsciously wanted to retaliate. Suddenly, Yi Fei's voice entered his ears. "Old eunuch, if you dare to retaliate, don't blame me for being merciless." "Gotcha!" Yi Fei raised his sword and chopped off Zhao Ji's other arm. Zhao Ji fainted from the pain. He howled bitterly and miserably. "Eunuch Zhang, don't retaliate. Save me, quickly save me." Pooh! Eunuch Zhang spat out a mouthful of blood into the air. This time, it wasn't from anger. Instead, the old mansion master had taken advantage of his stupor to heavily injure him with a palm strike. Almost half of Eunuch Zhang's bones were shattered. "Ha, this feels good. Eunuch Zhang, let's settle the grudge between us today." The old mansion lord let out a long howl, his heart filled with indescribable joy. He had never experienced such a satisfying battle. His old opponent didn't even dare to retaliate. As long as he kept attacking, he could beat his old opponent to death like a punching bag. If he didn't strike now, when would he? The old mansion master immediately decided to kill the old eunuch. Chapter 100. Kill the crown prince, brat. You're too shameless. I'll definitely kill you. Eunuch Zhang almost went mad with anger. Originally, as a half-step martial honorable, he did not have to worry about a mere martial master. Yi Fei also knew this, so he changed his mind at the last minute. He did not kill Zhao Ji, but prepared to use Zhao Ji to threaten Eunuch Zhang. The effect was very obvious. With Crown Prince Zhao Ji as a hostage, no matter how strong Eunuch Zhang was or how much he hated him, for the sake of Crown Prince Zhao Ji's safety, Eunuch Zhang would not dare to attack him. As for Eunuch Zhang's scolding, Yi Fei pretended not to hear it. He just shook his head coldly and said, "You forced me to do this. Old eunuch, why don't you try blocking it again?" Yi Fei placed the devouring spirit sword on Zhao Ji's thigh and pretended to chop it down. Eunuch Zhang was so angry that his face turned purple. At this moment, the old mansion master's attack also arrived. A purple fist shadow smashed towards Eunuch Zhang's head. He wanted nothing more than to smash Eunuch Zhang into pieces. Eunuch Zhang was enraged. At this moment of life and death, he naturally couldn't just sit there and wait for death. Subconsciously, he wanted to resist. At this moment, Yi Fei's maddening voice rang out again. "Old eunuch, if you don't want the crown prince's leg anymore, then I'll chop it off." "No, Eunuch Zhang, this crown prince orders you not to resist." Zhao Ji endured his injuries and roared loudly. He was completely terrified. At this moment, in Zhao Ji's heart, Yi Fei was the most terrifying demon he had ever seen. No, Yi Fei was even more terrifying than a demon. Zhao Ji had already lost both of his hands. He did not want to lose both of his legs as well. Without waiting for Eunuch Zhang to speak, Zhao Ji immediately ordered Eunuch Zhang loudly. This order seriously disturbed Eunuch Zhang's mental state. After all, he was an expert nurtured by the royal family. He was still very loyal to the royal family. As soon as Zhao Ji gave the order, Eunuch Zhang's hands subconsciously slowed down. In a fight between experts, such a small mistake was enough to lose one's life. Purple Flame Fist. Seizing this opportunity, the old mansion master's purple fist smashed into Eunuch Zhang's body like a mountain. Eunuch Zhang's vision turned black, and half of his bones were shattered. "Ah, Yi Fei, I'll remember you. I won't let you off." If you have the guts, kill His Highness the Crown Prince. I won't interfere in this matter anymore." Eunuch Zhang was so angry that he felt dizzy. Originally, he and the old mansion master were both half-step martial honors. When they fought, they were evenly matched. However, because Yi Fei had captured the crown prince and kept threatening him, he was beaten into such a sorry state. The heavily injured Eunuch Zhang was clearly no match for the old mansion master. Therefore, Eunuch Zhang turned around and fled. He quickly rushed into the distant sky, not even caring about the crown prince's safety. It was true that the old eunuch was loyal to the imperial family, but he would not be so foolish as to allow the old mansion lord to beat him to death without putting up any resistance. Eunuch Zhang had no choice but to flee. Before he left, he didn't forget to leave behind some harsh words. It was obvious that he hated Yi Fei's actions to the core. However, Yi Fei did not seem to feel the old eunuch's anger. When Yi Fei saw that Eunuch Zhang was about to abandon the crown prince and escape on his own, he said something that drove Eunuch Zhang crazy. "Old eunuch, if you dare to escape, I'll cut off both of the crown prince's legs right now. If you want to cut them off, then cut them off. Yi Fei, you're just a small ant. If it weren't for this ignorant old man's protection, do you think you could threaten me?" Eunuch Zhang was extremely furious. He was seriously injured and could not even protect himself. How could he have the energy to care about Zhao Ji, the crown prince? After saying this, Eunuch Zhang turned around and rushed into the distance as fast as he could in an attempt to escape. "Old eunuch, if you really dare to escape, don't blame me for being ruthless." A vicious look flashed across Yi Fei's eyes. He knew that if he let the old eunuch escape, there would be no end of trouble in the future. Crack! He raised his spirit-devouring sword again. Yi Fei did not hold back and simply chopped off one of Zhao Ji's legs in front of Eunuch Zhang. Such a ruthless action shocked everyone once again. Only then did everyone realize that Yi Fei was serious this time. If Eunuch Zhang dared to escape, Yi Fei would definitely toy with the crown prince to death. "Ah, Eunuch Zhang, you dog of a slave. Why are you running away? Come and save me. I'm about to die from the pain." Zhao Ji screamed in pain. He even showed a hint of hatred for Eunuch Zhang. If Eunuch Zhang had not disobeyed his orders, he would not have ended up with only one leg left. At this moment, Zhao Ji's heart was filled with deep regret and a deep fear of Yi Fei. If he had another chance, he would definitely not have dared to provoke Yi Fei and his family Yi so easily. Unfortunately, there were no ifs. In the sky, Eunuch Zhang stared helplessly as the crown prince Zhao Ji was reduced to a one-legged human stick. He was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. However, he did not stop because of this. Instead, he steeled his heart and continued to escape into the distance. "Your Highness, rest in peace. This old servant will personally avenge you in the future." After saying this, the old eunuch ran even faster. He did not care about the crown prince Zhao Ji's life and wanted to escape on his own. Of course, the old mansion master would not let his great enemy off so easily. Now that Eunuch Zhang was seriously injured, it was the best opportunity to kill him. "Eunuch Zhang, where do you think you're going? I'll definitely kill you to appease you, Er's mother's spirit in heaven." The old mansion master roared and chased after Eunuch Zhang. In the distant sky, the sounds of two half-step martial honors fighting for their lives could be heard continuously. "No, Eunuch Zhang, you can't leave me behind. You dog of a slave. How dare you abandon me and escape on your own? Save me, imperial sister, save me." Crown Prince Zhao Ji finally lost all hope when he saw Eunuch Zhang running away. Then, he turned to Zhao Yu, who was still standing nearby, as his last hope. He kept begging for help. Yi Fei also looked at Zhao Yu. He hesitated for a moment before he said, "You want to save him?" After all, he owed Zhao Yu a favor for the incident with the extraterrestrial divine flame. If Zhao Yu begged for mercy, he would be in a difficult position. When Zhao Yu heard this, he looked at Zhao Ji and sneered. "Now you're willing to admit that I'm your imperial sister. Back then, When you bewitched Imperial Father to kill my mother and repeatedly tried to defile me when I was young, did it ever occur to you that I'm your Imperial sister? A strong, murderous intent suddenly surged from Yi Fei's body. At this moment, he finally understood. Why did Zhao Yu want to go against the Crown Prince? It was because this person had lost his mind. He was even more vicious than a beast. Zhao Ji, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. It seems like crippling your limbs is considered a light punishment. I'll kill you now, you bastard. Yi Fei didn't know why, but when he heard that Zhao Ji had actually wanted to violate Zhao Yu, he felt extremely uncomfortable. At the same time, he thought of his sister, Yi Shanshan, who was far away in the Holy Land. He also thought of what had happened to them in the family Yi. The murderous intent on Yi Fei's body intensified. Don't kill me, Yi Fei. You've already crippled my limbs. Are you still not satisfied? Don't forget my identity. I'm the Crown Prince of Zhao, the future Emperor of Zhao. If you dare kill me, you'll be making an enemy of the Zhao Kingdom and the Imperial family. No matter how strong you are, can you be stronger than the Imperial family? Sensing the intense, murderous intent, Zhao Ji was finally afraid. However, even if he begged for mercy, he couldn't change his nature. The moment he opened his mouth, he threatened. Yi Fei was so angry that he laughed. He shook his head and stared at Zhao Ji in disgust. If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten that you're the Crown Prince. I've crippled you so thoroughly today. If you live, the Imperial family will take revenge on me. It's better to just kill you. Don't kill me, Yi Fei. I was wrong. I swear that as long as you let me go, I won't take revenge on you. I'll treat you with respect in the future. Zhao Ji tried his best to appease Yi Fei. However, there was a well-concealed murderous glint and hatred in his eyes. However, Yi Fei still noticed it. You don't mean what you say. Poof. Without giving Zhao Ji a chance to beg for mercy, the soul-devouring sword pierced through his head. A faint white light was swallowed by the soul-devouring sword. This scene naturally didn't escape Eunuch Zhang, who was fighting fiercely with the old mansion master in the distance. When he saw that Yi Fei had really killed the Crown Prince, Eunuch Zhang went crazy. Chapter 101. Chapter 101, Establishing the Yi League. Hearing Eunuch Zhang's threat, Yi Fei really wanted to laugh. He looked up to the sky and shouted, "So what if you killed the Crown Prince? It was you who came to destroy my family, Yi, first. You even massacred the entire Blackrock City. Could it be that only you are allowed to commit murder and arson while we are not allowed to retaliate?" That's right. If Crown Prince Zhao Ji hadn't pushed them too hard and left them no way out, how could they have ended up like this? In the beginning, when everyone heard the threat of Eunuch Zhang, a half-step martial venerable, they were still scared witless. However, when they heard Yi Fei's words, they were shocked. Many people could not help but feel a sense of pride. So what if he's the Crown Prince? Could it be that the Crown Prince doesn't care about our lives and treats human lives like grass? Yi Fei, well done. We support you. Since the royal family doesn't treat us as people, so what if we rebel? The world of martial arts is so big, there are plenty of places for us to stay. Encouraged by Yi Fei, many of the youths of Blackrock City stood up and cursed at the sky. Some of the bolder ones even walked over to Zhao Ji's corpse and spat on it. They had been too depressed just now, and now they needed to vent out. Only those who had walked through the gates of hell could understand this feeling. Then, everyone's gaze turned to the front. Yi Fei's straight figure was like a sword. It was this young man who had brought glory to Blackrock City. It was this young man who had turned the tide and saved the entire Blackrock City. It was also this young man who had dared to risk universal condemnation by killing the Crown Prince, helping everyone present to vent their frustrations. Yi Fei. It was unknown who shouted out loud. Yi Fei. Yi Fei. Even more people started shouting excitedly. They could only express their gratitude by shouting Yi Fei's name. Many people in the family Yi lowered their heads. Some of them were ordinary clansmen, but most of them were family Ye's elders. When Yi Fei was at his lowest point, they mocked Yi Fei without restraint. They treated Yi Fei as a piece of trash. now that Yi Fei had risen to prominence and appeared before them as a powerhouse. These people were overjoyed, but what was left was deep regret. Why? Why didn't they reach out to help Yi Fei like Yi Jian did when Yi Fei was at his lowest point? As a result, many people from the Yi family, who were clearly the most honored, were too embarrassed to approach Yi Fei and talk to him. Only a small number of Yi family members, such as Yi Jian, Yi Chao, and Grand Elder Yi Tianai and Zhou Guang, who had defected to the Yi family halfway, were qualified to speak with Yi Fei. Senior brother Zhou, it's been hard on you. Yi Fei first expressed his gratitude to Zhou Guang. He was not a member of the Yi family, but he could advance and retreat together with the Yi family. Zhou Guang had put in a lot of effort for Black Rock City to be able to hold on until he arrived. Master, what are you saying? To be able to join Master's family is the best choice I, Zhou Guang, have ever made, Zhou Guang said excitedly. Zhou Guang joined Yi Fei in the beginning because he wanted to rely on Yi Fei's sister, who was cultivating in the Holy Land, to protect him. However, he had seen Yi Fei's growth with his own eyes and experienced this crisis. Zhou Guang was even more determined to follow Yi Fei. Yi Jian suddenly frowned. He pointed at the soldiers gathered nearby and said, Yi Fei, how do you plan to deal with these people? Kill them or capture them? We will listen to your orders. Only then did Yi Fei turn around and look at the soldiers of the Black Forest Commandery who were hesitating whether to leave or stay. He took a step forward and said, The Black Forest Commandery King and the Crown Prince have been killed by me. What? Do you want to stay here and be buried with them? These soldiers were already leaderless. When they heard that Yi Fei was willing to let them go, they heaved a sigh of relief. Many of them were so frightened that they threw away their weapons and war horses. They ran away as fast as they could. This boosted the morale of the soldiers of Black Rock City. They believed that after this battle, the entire Black Rock City would know about Black Rock City and Yi Fei's fame. Take the others and clean up the battlefield. Treat the injured. Bring the seriously injured here. I'll treat them personally. Yi Fei said. Yes, young Lord Yi. Everyone replied loudly. No one disobeyed Yi Fei's orders. Even the governor, Zhuang Bufan, did not object. After this battle, Yi Fei had established absolute prestige in Black Rock City. However, compared to this prestige, Yi Fei hoped that the old mansion master would kill Eunuch Zhang. Unfortunately, a half-step martial honorable expert was one of the top experts in Zhao City. Even if he was seriously injured, it would be difficult to kill him. After waiting for a long time, the old mansion master did not return. As he still had to deal with the matters in Black Rock City, Yi Fei could only ask Zhao Yu to continue waiting outside. He himself returned to Black Rock City and entered the family Yi. At this moment, the family Yi was extremely crowded. The various family heads and elders of the various families in the city were waiting there. Some of the family heads had died in the battle, and some of the temporary family heads were sitting there. When Yi Fei walked in, he saw that the meeting hall of the family Yi was filled with people. The seats were not randomly arranged. Every seat represented the strength of the other party in Black Rock City. As the governor, Zhuang Bufan should have sat in the middle of the main seat. However, he did not do so. Instead, he chose to sit in the second seat and gave the main seat to the family Yi. As the family head, Yi Jian did not sit in the main seat. Instead, he thought for a while and chose a seat that was equal to Zhuang Bufan's. The two of them sat on the left and right of the main seat. The other families sat according to their strength. When they saw Yi Fei walk in, Yi Jian and Zhuang Bufan stood up at the same time and made an inviting gesture. Yi Fei, you came at the right time. Come and take a seat. Let's start the meeting. Yi Fei was shocked and quickly declined. Uncle Jian, Governor, you are all my elders. How can a junior like me sit above you? Haha, logically speaking, you are a junior. However, when it comes to strength, other than you, who else is qualified to sit in that seat? Zhuang Bufan said sincerely. That's right, young Lord Yi. Our families are not convinced of each other's strength. However, we are convinced by a young hero like you. Other than you, no one else can sit in this seat. That's right. Young Lord Yi, please take the seat. You are responsible for presiding over this meeting. The other families also spoke up to persuade Yi Fei to take the seat. Yi Jian grabbed Yi Fei's hand and said, "Yi Fei, don't refuse. This seat is what everyone wants. If you don't take it, who else would dare to take it?" As he said that, he pushed Yi Fei to the main seat. Yi Fei could only smile bitterly and shake his head. He knew that if he continued to refuse, he would be hypocritical. Yi Fei glanced at the elders and patriarchs of the various clans and families and said, "Uncles, what is everyone gathered here to discuss? Young Lord Yi, it's like this. Our families have decided to join the family Yi and become members of the family Yi. We hope that young Lord Yi will take us in." Zhuang Bufan was the first to stand up and said loudly. Then, before Yi Fei could refuse, the elder of the Zhou family, who had lost their family head, also jumped out and said loudly, "Our Zhou family sincerely hopes that young Lord Yi will take us in. Our Li family too. Our Chun family too. Even if we change our surname to Yi, we will accept it." The representatives of each family were very enthusiastic. They only had one goal in mind, and that was to join the family Yi and seek protection from Yi Fei. Of course, they didn't rule out the idea of working together to resist the royal family's revenge. After all, the Crown Prince and the second Prince of Black Forest were killed by Yi Fei. The families of Black Rock City were also involved. If the royal family wanted to seek revenge, these small families would be finished in minutes. They might as well join the family Yi and work together. That way, they would have a chance of survival. Yi Fei more or less understood the intentions of these family heads. When he saw great elder Yi Tianai blinking his eyes at him, Yi Fei knew that this was a good opportunity to strengthen the family Yi. If he could take in so many families to join the family Yi, the family Yi's strength would instantly increase by several times. Yi Fei nodded and said, "All right, since everyone thinks so highly of our family Yi, then our family Yi welcomes everyone to join us. However, even if you join the family Yi, we won't force you to change your surname. How about this? All the families of Black Rock City will temporarily form an alliance to face the upcoming crisis. We'll call it the Yi Alliance. After everyone joins us, those who are willing to change their surnames will change their surnames. Those who aren't, when there's nothing else in the future, you can bring your own family and go independent. What do you all think?" Yi Fei thought of a compromise. As he grew, the family Yi would only become stronger and stronger. There would definitely be more people who would want to join the family Yi. However, Yi Fei wouldn't take in just anyone. Therefore, it was necessary to form a temporary alliance. Through this alliance, the family Yi could observe the families that joined and see which of them they could trust. Then, they could take them in. As for those families that were forced and secretly half-hearted, the family Yi could also clear them out at the appropriate time. It could be considered as killing two birds with one stone. Sure enough, the moment Yi Fei made this suggestion, the gazes of the various patriarchs present towards Yi Fei underwent an obvious change. In the beginning, everyone respected Yi Fei because they valued Yi Fei's strength. However, Yi Fei's beautiful alliance plan showed them the unfathomable wisdom behind Yi Fei's strength. The family Yi has produced a hero. Perhaps joining the family Yi will be the wisest decision I, Zhuang Bufan, have made in my life. Chapter 102. Towards the Holy Land, my Zhou family too. No, from today onwards, we will change our surname to Yi. My Li family is willing to join the Yi Alliance. My Chen family is also willing. With Zhuang Bufan taking the lead, the other families became more enthusiastic, and all of them expressed their desire to join the Yi Alliance. This time, Yi Fei did not reject them. Instead, he happily agreed to let them join. Of course, the position of the leader of the Yi Alliance would still be held by his family Yi. Although there were very few families who took the initiative to change their surnames, Yi Fei did not force them. He was confident that as the family Yi continued to grow stronger, these families in the Yi Alliance would definitely be willing to fully integrate into the family Yi and strengthen the family Yi. Since Yi Fei was sitting in the main seat, he did not decline and began the first meeting of the Yi Alliance. "Very well, since everyone is willing to join the Yi Alliance, I welcome you. Now, let us begin the formal discussion. Yi Fei asked Yi Jian and Zhuang Bufan. Uncle Jian, Mayor, what do you think Blackrock City should do now? Yi Jian frowned and said in a low voice, we can't stay in Blackrock City. The Crown Prince and Prince Hyland have both died here. They have violated the royal family's taboo. Zhuang Bufan nodded in agreement. Young Master, just call me Yi Bufan. I also agree with Master. Now that our family Yi has thoroughly offended the royal family, I'm afraid there's no place for us in the whole of Zhao City. I suggest that we give up on this place immediately and move to another place to start anew. I agree with this suggestion. I agree too. The royal family has disappointed us too much. Leader, why don't we just leave Zhao City and develop in other countries? That's right. With Masters and our combined strength, our Yi Alliance is one of the top in the 18 countries of the North Sea. Wherever we go, we can open up a new world for ourselves. All the family leaders said. They were afraid of the royal family's revenge and did not dare to stay in Zhao City. Yi Fei also sighed helplessly. The reason why everyone made such a choice was because their strength was too low. If he could become a revered martial artist, why would he be afraid of the insignificant Zhao? All right, since everyone has decided, leaving the country of Zhao might not be a bad choice. But which country should we go to and start new? Does anyone have any good suggestions? Yi Fei asked. In the North Sea, there were a total of 18 countries. The entire North Sea was an insignificant place in the great world of martial arts. They could leave Zhao City, but they had to carefully choose the country they wanted to enter. This was the only way to prevent the Yi League from suffering a second blow. It had to be said that after experiencing so many things, Yi Fei had become more experienced and mature. Alliance Master, what do you think about us going to Snow Country? Snow Country and Zhao Country were once enemies. As long as we join Snow Country, no matter how much the royal family of Zhao Country hates us, they won't dare to openly cause trouble for us in Snow Country. Zhuang Bufan, no, you should be called Yi Bufan now, suggested for the first time. Snow Country? Hearing this name, Yi Fei could not help but frown. After all, he had lived in the great world of martial arts for more than 10 years. Of course, he knew that Snow Country and Zhao Country were once enemies. Even his sister, Yi Shanshan, was picked up by his father out of kindness when he was training at the border between Zhao Country and Snow Country. However, Snow Country had a harsh environment and was very resistant to outsiders. Yi Fei did not think that Snow Country was the best choice for the family. However, other than Snow Country, Yi Fei could not think of the most suitable place to go. In the end, he still had too few places to train. No, you can't go to Snow Country, and you can't leave Zhao Country. Suddenly, a vigorous voice came from outside. The old mansion master and Zhao Yu walked in together. Seeing the old mansion master, Yi Fei was pleasantly surprised. He quickly stood up and said, Mansion Master, did you kill that damned eunuch? If Eunuch Zhang was killed, the news that the imperial family got here would be greatly delayed. In that case, the family you would have more time to evacuate from Blackrock City. How could it be that easy? I underestimated Eunuch Zhang. As the #1 expert in the imperial family, this eunuch's escaping ability is very good. I only crippled one of his arms and legs, and he still managed to escape in the end. This is also the reason why I stopped you from evacuating. The old mansion master's expression was extremely serious. He looked at Yi Fei and said, Yi Fei, do you know how long it will take for so many of you to evacuate from Zhao Country? It will take at least half a month. Yi Fei frowned. He had indeed neglected this problem. It should be known that this time, it was not just one family that was evacuating, but all the families were evacuating together. Many of them were old, young, women, and children. This would definitely seriously slow down everyone's movement speed. Half a month is too short. If I were to chase after you, I would only need to bring 5,000 Imperial cavalrymen with me. I would be able to catch up to you in about 10 days. Zhao Yu said coldly. Her words frightened many people on the spot. After all, Zhao Yu is also a princess. However, Zhao Yu is clearly a princess of the imperial family, yet she was standing together with Yi Fei. This inevitably caused many people to gossip in their hearts. Yi Bufan smiled bitterly in his heart. Daughter, it's not that I don't want to give you a chance. It's just that you can't compete with this princess at all. In the hearts of Yi Bufan and many others, they had already misunderstood. They thought that Yi Fei and Zhao Yu's relationship was very unusual, and that they might have privately pledged to marry each other. If Yi Fei knew what they were thinking, he would definitely vomit blood. Privately pledging to marry each other, and with a crazy woman like Zhao Yu at that? Was there something wrong with these people's eyesight? Of course, Yi Fei did not care about these gossips now. It was too late to evacuate. Yi Fei hurriedly stepped forward and asked the old mansion master for advice. Please teach me, mansion master. The old mansion master was an expert of the older generation after all. He was knowledgeable and experienced. He was definitely more than 10 times more experienced than a young boy like him. The old mansion master pondered and suggested, Yi Fei, do you trust this old man? If you do, this old man has a suggestion. That is, let the family Yi and everyone here temporarily take refuge in Tianyan Wufu. What? Go to Tianyan Wufu? Yi Fei did not expect the old mansion master to make such a decision. This would definitely incur the imperial family's hatred, especially since Tianyan Wufu and the imperial family had a deep grudge to begin with. Yi Fei shook his head decisively and said, No, Wu province has already helped me a lot. I can't let Wu province be hated by the imperial family because of me. He had his own principles. Yi Fei was also a little worried about whether Tianyan Wufu could shelter so many people. He could not let anything happen to the family Yi. However, the old mansion master was very insistent. Why not? Yi Fei, do you remember what I said before? Wu province helping you is actually helping ourselves. In fact, it's very easy for you to avoid the imperial family's revenge. As long as you can join the Holy Land within a month at the latest, Wu province will be protected by the Holy Land for another 100 years. At that time, no matter how much the imperial family hates you, they won't dare to offend the Holy Land and make things difficult for Wu province. This was also the reason why many elders in Tianyan Wufu were so determined to support Yi Fei. The current Tianyan Wufu desperately needed a genius to join the Holy Land. Yi Fei's eyes lit up when he heard this. Join the Holy Land? Why didn't I think of that? Was there still time? By the way, Mansion Master, do you know where the Star Moon Holy Land is? Star Moon Holy Land? Don't even think about that place. That Holy Land is outside the 18 countries of the North Sea. It doesn't have much influence on Zhao. Otherwise, do you think Crown Prince Zhao Ji would dare to attack your family Yi so brazenly? With your strength, it will take you at least half a year to get there, the old mansion master said. Yi Fei's expression was very ugly. He didn't expect that his sister would be taken to such a faraway place to cultivate. Although he was very unwilling, he had no choice when he looked at the expectant eyes of Yi Jian, Yi Bufan, and the other families. Then, Mansion Master, which Holy Land can I join as soon as possible? Yi Fei asked helplessly. The Taishan Holy Land. This is a very powerful holy land in the 18 countries of the North Sea. It's also the closest to Zhao. Take this Taishan token, and you can participate in the entrance test, the old mansion master said as he threw a crystal-like token to Yi Fei. This is the Taishan Holy Land's entrance token. Only with this token can you go to the Holy Land and participate in the entrance test. In the past 200 years, Wu province has sent 10 of its best disciples to participate in the test. Without exception, all of them failed, including myself. Chapter 103. Chapter 103. A vicious Empress Dowager. Although the old chief had said that the Holy Land's examination was very strict for the sake of his family Yi Fei still decided to find a way to join the Taishan Holy Land. As for the members of the Yi League, Yi Fei had decided to settle them down in Tianyan Wufu before Yi Fei's strength rose to the point where he could intimidate the entire royal family. No one objected to Yi Fei's decision. After all, the Yi Alliance's current strength was still too weak. Going to Tianyan Wufu and receiving the old master's protection was the best plan for now. Thus, in one night, all the clans in Black Rock City made preparations to evacuate. As for the ordinary people in the city, they also fled from Black Rock City after the large martialist clans left. The older generation of family even looked back with reluctance in the direction of Black Rock City. Fei was also reluctant to leave. After all, this was the place where he and his sister had lived together. Jian, on the other hand, was very open-minded. He patted Fei on the shoulder and comforted him. Fei, don't think about it. We're only leaving temporarily. It's not like we're never coming back. As long as you're here, our family, will be able to move faster and further. Uncle Jian, don't worry, I'm fine. I will definitely lead the family to glory. This is not only my father's wish, but also my goal. Fei's gaze was incomparably resolute. Despite all the unpleasantness between him and his family he was still a member of the family The blood of the family flowed in his veins, so he had the responsibility to make the family stronger. At the same time, this was also a kind of training that Fei was giving him. If he couldn't even make his family stronger, then what qualifications did he have to go to the Star Moon Holy Land and bring back Shan Shan? Star Moon Holy Land, just you wait. In the near future, I will definitely step in. Fei clenched his fists and looked ahead. Then, he strode away from Black Rock City. Just as Fei was about to leave with everyone, suddenly, a figure appeared in the sky above Black Rock City. This person had lost an arm and a leg. Who else could it be but Eunuch Zhang, who had escaped? He was here to look for Crown Prince Zhao Ji's corpse. Otherwise, even if he escaped back to the imperial family, he would be severely punished. Unfortunately, everyone in Black Rock City was busy evacuating. No one had the time to care about the corpse outside the city. So much so that when Eunuch Zhang secretly rushed over to collect Crown Prince Zhao Ji's corpse and lessen his crime, what he found was not Zhao Ji's corpse, but a field full of wild dogs. They were gorging themselves on food, and not even the bones were left. Eunuch Zhang was so angry that he spat out 3 mouthfuls of black blood on the spot. Then, he roared furiously, scaring the wild dogs that were eating happily on the ground. They ran away in all directions with their tails between their legs. Boom! Then, a huge ball of black flames smashed into the Black Rock City, burning the empty city into ruins. Roar, family Fei, you caused me so much trouble. I'll definitely think of a way to kill you, especially that little bastard Fei. I'll crush your bones one by one. Blarg! Resisting the urge to vomit, Eunuch Zhang, a half-step martial venerable expert, could only find a tattered cloth bag and put the few remaining rotten bones into it. He did not care whether it was Zhao Ji or not. He rushed back to the imperial city to report. At the same time, he was preparing to mobilize a large group of experts to burn Fei and the old mansion master to ashes. However, when he really returned to the imperial palace and entered the solemn and indescribably oppressive depths of the imperial palace, Eunuch Zhang's anger turned into deep fear. He limped to the bottom of the stairs in the deepest part of the imperial palace and knelt down on one knee. Behind the stairs was a deep door that seemed to have not been opened for decades. At this moment, an old woman's voice came from inside. Little Zhang, what did you bring back? Why does it smell like blood? I don't remember ordering you to prepare such foul-smelling blood food. Empress Dowager, please forgive me. This servant deserves to die. This servant deserves to die. Eunuch Zhang, a half-step martial venerable, was so scared that he could not speak clearly when he heard this voice. He could only ignore his injuries and quickly kneel on the ground and kowtow desperately. The old eunuch kowtowed very hard. The sound of his forehead hitting the stairs could be heard in the entire imperial palace. However, the stairs were made of some unknown material and were not damaged at all. Little Zhang, are you injured? With your strength, who else in Zhao province can hurt you except for me? The Empress Dowager finally realized that something was wrong. Even though they were separated by a red door, the Empress Dowager seemed to be able to sense Eunuch Zhang's injuries. One of your arms and legs are broken. Half of your bones are broken. This person is ruthless. Could it be that a martial, venerable expert came to Zhao province? By the way, Where's the crown prince? I asked you to protect him. Is he injured? This servant deserves to die. I couldn't protect the crown prince. He was killed by a servant from Wu province named Yi Fei. His body was eaten by wild dogs. I only managed to pick up a few bones. Boo-hoo! Eunuch Zhang wailed loudly. His acting was superb. As he spoke, he spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood. This was purely because he was angered by Yi Fei. What? The crown prince is dead? He was killed by a servant from Wu province. Little Zhang, then you really deserve to die. Zhao Ji is a top genius who cultivates evil techniques. In terms of talent, he's even better than Zhao Qianjun. How dare you say that he was killed by a servant from Wu province? Do you think I'm senile? Boom! A terrifying cold aura exploded from behind the red door. It was like an invisible hand that lifted Eunuch Zhang into the air and smashed him hard on the ground. Just this one attack was enough to break the bones of Eunuch Zhang, a half-step martial saint expert, and nearly kill him on the spot. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the strength of the Empress Dowager behind the Vermilion Gate was. She was definitely a genuine martial saint expert. You wretched servant, tell me what happened. If you hide anything, I can fulfill your wish, but I can also destroy you. The Empress Dowager was so angry that the entire palace shook slightly. The emperor, who was still in court, was so frightened that his face turned pale. He didn't understand why the Empress Dowager was so angry. Was the Empress Dowager dissatisfied with the blood offerings? But they were all experts of the martial master realm. In the end, the red door shook violently for a while and then calmed down. The Empress Dowager didn't come out. It seemed that there was some kind of restriction in the palace that prevented her from leaving. Even so, Eunuch Zhang was so scared that he was sweating. He didn't dare to hide anything and quickly told the Empress Dowager everything that had happened. When he mentioned Yi Fei, Eunuch Zhang gnashed his teeth in anger. Empress Dowager, it's all because of that servant called Yi Fei. Not only did he go against the crown prince, but he also kidnapped the crown prince to threaten us. I had no choice. Eunuch Zhang begged for mercy. There was no response from behind the red door. The Empress Dowager seemed to be deep in thought, until the invisible oppression almost drove the old eunuch crazy. Only then did a sorrowful sigh come out from the vermilion door. Zhao Qianjun, you still hate your mother, so you'd rather kill yourself and let a lowly servant obtain your inheritance than give it to the imperial family to strengthen our Zhao family? Eunuch Zhang didn't dare to speak. He lay on the ground and didn't dare to move. If Yi Fei was here, he would also be shocked. This Empress Dowager was actually the evil Sword King's mother. She was the vicious woman who had cut off Zhao Qianjuan's ears and skinned his face. What was even more frightening was that the Empress Dowager was still alive after the evil Sword King had been dead for more than 200 years. She had even used some unknown method to break through to the martial honorable realm. However, for some unknown reason, the Empress Dowager couldn't take a single step out of the red door. This was a blessing in disguise. After a long silence. Chapter 104. Order to kill ye kill. The Empress Dowager only said one word, and the entire palace was filled with a cold, bloodthirsty, and crazy aura. Zhao Ji is the great-grandson that I value the most. With his talent, his potential, he should have been groomed by me to become the new evil demon sword king, leading our royal family to glory. A mere odd-job worker actually dares to ruin Aijia's plan, then there's no need for him to exist. But Empress Dowager, that brat called Yi Fei, is very strange. Not only did he comprehend sword intent, he also seems to have cultivated a very powerful cultivation technique. He doesn't even fear the crown prince's blood devil art. Most importantly, Tianyan Wufu's Tsang Fan is also protecting him with all his might. Eunuch Zhang said in a trembling voice as he lay on the ground. The Empress Dowager was also shocked when she heard this. What did you say? That Yi Fei has already comprehended sword intent. Even if he obtained the inheritance of Qianjun, how could a servant in Wu province comprehend sword intent? Not to mention the Empress Dowager, even Eunuch Zhang was confused. He suggested tentatively. Empress Dowager, Tianyin Wufu has shielded rebels and repeatedly opposed the imperial family. Why don't you order His Majesty to mobilize the army and destroy Tianyin Wufu? Even though the emperor was the most respected person in the Zhao kingdom, the emperor was just a puppet in the royal family. The true decision-maker was the Empress Dowager. When it came to scheming, even if the Empress Dowager did not step out of her residence, she was still better than countless men. When she heard Eunuch Zhang's suggestion, she sneered. Mobilize an army? Do you think Tianyin Wufu is made of paper? To be able to remain standing after being oppressed by Aijia for 200 years, Tianyin Wufu is indeed worthy of being the strongest Wu province in the past. If I'm not wrong, Zheng Fei's father is protecting Yi Fei with all his might because he wants him to participate in the Holy Land's assessment. They see him as the last hope for the revival of Wu province. What? Holy Land assessment? No, we can't let this kid join the Holy Lands. With his potential, he has a high chance of joining the Holy Lands. If that happens, we won't be able to deal with him anymore. Tianyin Wufu will also be protected for 100 years because of him. This is extremely disadvantageous to the royal family. Eunuch Zhang had a ferocious expression on his face. He had always sought revenge for the smallest grievance. Now that Yi Fei had caused him so much trouble, Eunuch Zhang had to take revenge no matter what. At the same time, as a member of the royal family, the death of the crown prince was a great humiliation. The Empress Dowager was not willing to see Yi Fei join the Holy Land. The Empress Dowager pondered for a moment and ordered, "Get up, call the emperor over for me." The vermilion door was half open, and a thick stench of blood flew out from inside. It quickly entered Eunuch Zhang's body and healed all of his injuries in an instant. Even though Eunuch Zhang was a half-martial highness, he had never heard of such a method before. He could not help but feel even more respectful toward the Empress Dowager. Cha, this old servant is going to invite His Majesty. There's no need for that. I'm already here. Greetings, Imperial Grandmother. Outside the palace, the emperor walked in with an elegant and wise face. He did not have the evil and arrogant aura of the crown prince, Zhao Ji. Instead, he gave off an amiable and harmonious feeling. It was hard to tell that they were father and son. The Empress Dowager was not surprised. She asked, "You know about the crown prince?" "I know. Aren't you sad?" "I'm very sad." The emperor said this, but he did not look sad at all. In the past few years, he had heard about the crown prince's cruel methods. The Empress Dowager let out a long sigh. "Your Majesty, it looks like you're still blaming me for what happened to Consort Zeng." "What Consort Zeng? I've long forgotten about her." The emperor's tone was calm, but there was an inexplicable pain in his eyes. The Empress Dowager was very shrewd. Even though they were separated by the vermilion door, she could see the emperor's heart. She could not help but laugh coldly. "You haven't forgotten. Otherwise, you wouldn't have ignored Zhao Yu on the surface, but secretly prevented the crown prince from taking action against her." Boom! The emperor suddenly stood up agitatedly and roared at the vermilion door. "Empress Dowager, don't go overboard. I've already let down Consort Zeng. I can't let down our only daughter." "Only daughter? Emperor, don't forget that the crown prince, Zhao Ji, is also your son. He's also my most valued great-grandson." The Empress Dowager's voice was still cold, without a trace of emotion. The emperor punched the air. Suddenly, he was like a deflated balloon. He knelt down like a puppet and said, "Empress Dowager, if you have anything to say, just say it. I'll do it. I only beg you not to hurt you, Otherwise, we'll fight to the death." The emperor was no longer elegant. Instead, he had the aura of a martial artist. It was the aura of a martial arts grandmaster. "Your Majesty is a martial arts grandmaster." Eunuch Zhang was surprised when he saw this. He had always thought that the emperor was just a puppet of the Empress Dowager who only knew how to send love, poems, and paintings. He did not expect that the emperor was secretly practicing martial arts and improving rapidly. An emperor who was both civil and military would be a promising ruler in any dynasty, if not for the shadow of the Empress Dowager. Good. Your Majesty, you've finally matured. I knew it. Everything you've done in the past was just an act. Very good. This is the son of the Zhao family. Starting tomorrow, you'll be in charge. I'll also love the daughter you and consort Zhang have as my own granddaughter. However, there's only one condition. The Empress Dowager was obviously very satisfied with the Emperor's improvement. Her mood also improved. The Emperor was confused. What condition? I want you to issue an order. What order? The order to kill Yi. Yi Fei brought the family Yi back to Wu province. He did not dare to delay any longer. He could not be sure when the imperial family would send experts to kill him. Most importantly, without the protection of the sacred land, Wu province could withstand the imperial family's pressure and continue to provide protection for the family Yi. Yi Fei was also very worried. Therefore, as soon as the family Yi entered Wu province, Yi Fei said goodbye to the old chief, Elder Chun, and the other elders who had rushed over after hearing the news. Chief, Elder, I want to leave Wu province now to participate in the Sacred Land assessment. I just don't know where the Taishan Sacred Land is located in Zhao City. The old chief laughed and said, Yi Fei, the Taishan Sacred Land is not located in any of the 18 countries of the North Sea. It's a small world created by the peerless martial sage himself. Elder Chen also earnestly reminded him, Yi Fei, remember this. Only those who have transcended mortality and entered the divine realm can create a sacred land and become famous in Wangu City. I look forward to seeing you use the sword in your hand to create a peerless sword realm for us swordsmen. Sensing the concern in the two elders' words, Yi Fei nodded solemnly and said, Chief, Elder, when I really reach that stage, I will definitely return to Tianyan Wufu and personally turn Wu province into the strongest sacred land. If it had been anyone else, they definitely would not have dared to make such a promise. However, Yi Fei was different. He had the undying sword soul, which had once killed tens of thousands of gods and demons. That kind of power was definitely more terrifying than that of a martial sage. Yi Fei also believed that with the undying sword soul, he would definitely be able to reach the peak of martial arts step by step. Eventually, he would be able to discover the true secret of the undying sword soul. Chief, Elder, I'm leaving. Uncle Jian, help me take care of Yi Meng. Elder Chun, help me apologize to Sister Bai. I won't be able to cultivate with her anymore. In the end, Yi Fei lifted his head and mounted the Thunderbird. The journey to the Taishan Sacred Land was hundreds of thousands of miles away. It was too risky to travel such a long distance on foot, and they did not have enough time. Therefore, the old chief had lent him the fastest Thunderbird demonic beast as a means of transportation. The big bird soared into the sky like a bolt of lightning, carrying Yi Fei with it. His heart was like that of a young man. Taishan's sacred land, I'm coming. Chapter 105. Chapter 105. Wang by nothing was said along the way. The sooner they went to the Taishan Holy Land and joined the Holy Land, the sooner they could bring the family Yi and Tianyan Wufu the protection of the Holy Land. Yi Fei did not have the time to go sightseeing at this time. He had been burying his head in the road, and except for the necessary rest, he almost never left the back of the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird demonic beast was a pet that the old mansion master had raised since he was young. It was also a companion that fought side by side with him. Its combat strength might not be very strong, but its speed was one of the best among the demonic beasts. With such a means of transportation, a distance of hundreds of thousands of miles might be difficult for an ordinary person to travel in their lifetime. Sitting on the back of the Thunderbird, Yi Fei could already see a majestic city in the distance. Taishan City. This city belonged to the Taishan Holy Land. Although it was called a city, it occupied a vast area. In fact, it was a country of martial artists. According to the information provided to me by the old chief, it seems that the entrance to the secret zone of the Taishan Holy Land is in Taishan City. Along the way, Yi Fei saw many carriages with many young people sitting on them. They were escorted by a large group of servants as they rushed to Taishan City. Of course, there were also people like him, riding all kinds of strange birds and demonic beasts as they flew toward Taishan City. When they saw Yi Fei's flashy Thunderbird, they were all a little surprised, but they had no intention of coming over to talk. Their expressions were all very aloof. They were all here to participate in the profound sex assessment. Many of them were from Wu Province, like Yi Fei. Yi Fei saw that these people were all 10,000 meters away from Taishan City, so he stopped and let his mount leave. He changed to walking. Knowing that this might be the rule of the Taishan Holy Land, Yi Fei also let the Thunderbird land on a mountaintop. He casually threw the rest of the elixirs he had into the bird's beak and said, "Brother Bird, you've worked hard." When Yi Fei left, the palace master had asked Yi Meng to give him travel expenses. Some of them were used by Yi Fei to raise his realm. Along the way, his strength was already at the 7th level of the martial master realm. The rest of the elixirs were useless, so Yi Fei simply rewarded the Thunderbird with all of them and patted its head. The Thunderbird was very satisfied with Yi Fei's tactfulness. It patted Yi Fei's shoulder with its wings, revealing an expression that said, "Young man, you can do it. This bird appreciates you." Then, with a flap of its wings, the Thunderbird had already rushed into the clouds and returned to Wu Province. After all, it was the old chief's battle partner and could not follow Yi Fei into the Taishan Holy Land. For the rest of the journey, Yi Fei could only walk. It was only after entering Taishan City that Yi Fei realized that martial arts masters were everywhere, and martial arts grandmasters were as common as dogs. Even the high-level magical implements and best-quality elixirs that were rarely seen in the Zhao Kingdom could only be regarded as losers and sold at street stalls. From this, one could see how deep the heritage of a holy land was. Yi Fei was even more dazzled along the way. He was secretly surprised and said, "No wonder the old chief always reminded me that those who dominate Wu Province are mortals after all. Only by joining a holy land can one transcend mortality and enter the ranks of the top warriors." Hey, there's someone telling a story over there. Yi Fei's expression was a little strange. He did not expect that in this world, there was also the profession of a storyteller. With a sense of familiarity, Yi Fei also curiously went over. The storyteller was an old man who was only at the 1st level of the martial master realm. Seeing that more and more guests were gathering around, he was also very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, please perk up your ears. Today, I will tell you the story of a young hero in the state of Zhao. He stole a beauty and provoked a princess. In a fit of rage, he killed the crown prince for the sake of a beauty. Unfortunately, the audience did not buy it. In the eyes of powerful warriors, even the emperor of a country was beneath their notice. The death of a crown prince was nothing. What's so good about this story? If it was a story about a martial king or martial saint, we would be interested. That's right. This story has already spread. It's not like we don't know about it. Brother Lee, what's going on? Please tell us. I'm too lazy to listen to this storyteller. What else could it be? It's just a melodramatic story. I heard that a very powerful demon has appeared in Zhao. He's called Yi Fei or something. He actually covets the beauty of Zhao's princess and has evil intentions. It seems that he even killed the crown prince of Zhao. Zhao has even issued a kill order over here. They said that whoever can kill that demon will be married to the princess of Zhao. What? There's such a thing? Where's that demon? Come out and accept your death. A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. The youths might not be interested in ordinary members of the royal family, but if there was a beauty that could topple a country, their blood would boil. Yi Fei almost spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard this. Nonsense. This is utter nonsense. F***CK. Water must have entered my brain. Why would I provoke that crazy woman? That Zhao Yu is indeed beautiful, but her nature is ferocious. Brother, you're right. This is utter nonsense. If she was really a princess, why would she fall for a demon? Is that demon as handsome as me? Does he have a personality like me? Suddenly, a large hand landed on Yi Fei's shoulder. A familiar voice sounded behind Yi Fei. Yi Fei jumped in fright. How could he not know that someone was approaching? He turned around and saw that the person talking to him was a young man in his early 20s. He had a smile on his face the entire time. Yi Fei did not know why, but when he saw this person smile, he did not feel the slightest bit of hostility. Instead, he felt an inexplicable sense of joy. This was not because of anything else, but because this guy actually had 4 eyebrows. There were 2 on his forehead and 2 on both sides of his mouth. Seeing that Yi Fei had noticed him, this guy was very pleased. He stroked the 2 eyebrows at the corner of his mouth and said, "Brother, how is it? Do you feel inferior and have no confidence to stand beside me after seeing how different I am? It's okay. Don't worry and say it out loud. Although I'm shockingly handsome, we heroes think alike. I'll take care of you when I'm free." Yi Fei turned around and left. He really had nothing to say to this guy with 4 eyebrows, who was even more narcissistic than he was. Seeing that Yi Fei was about to leave, this guy became anxious. He hurriedly grabbed Yi Fei and said, "Brother, don't go. You're also here to participate in the Taishan Holy Land assessment. We'll all be brothers in the future. My name is Wang Bai. What's your name?" Yi Fei did not speak. Wang Bai was not angry. He still patted Yi Fei's shoulder enthusiastically and said, "It's okay if you don't want to say it. I know. Are you afraid that you won't be able to enter the Holy Land? You're too embarrassed to say your name now. It's okay. If you follow me in the future, I'll guarantee that you'll pass the assessment." Yi Fei's face was full of black lines. He glanced at Wang Bai. Damn it, his cultivation was only in the 6th level of the martial master realm. How could he have the nerve to say that he would take care of him? It was more likely that he would take care of him. Are you really going to participate in the Holy Land assessment? Yi Fei's expression was a little strange. He felt that Wang Bai had a strange charm that made it difficult for others to dislike him. Wrong. I'm not participating. I'm participating. Do you know that participation is important? With a talent like me who will shine wherever I go, which Holy Land wouldn't want me? Wang Bai exuded strong confidence. A few passers-by heard this and looked at Wang Bai's 6th level of the martial master realm. They were so disgusted that they almost vomited. They had seen narcissistic people before, but they had never seen such a narcissistic person. How could this guy have the courage to say that? Yi Fei was also a little speechless, but he still politely congratulated Wang Bai. "Then I'll congratulate you in advance, Brother Wang." With that, he turned to leave. "Brother, don't go. It's rare for heroes to cherish heroes and have unique opinions. How about we team up? I heard that the evil demon called Yi Fei will also participate in the Holy Land assessment. Many people have their eyes on him. Let me tell you a secret." Wang Bai looked around and made sure that no one was eavesdropping. He lowered his voice and continued, "I have a secret technique that can lock onto Yi Fei's appearance. I can even deduce his whereabouts. When the time comes, you and I will team up. I'll be the main attacker, and you'll be the main defender. We'll attack and defend at the same time. We'll try to kill that evil demon called Yi Fei first and hand him over to the Zhao imperial family. When the time comes and I successfully get the beauty, I'll definitely not forget your kindness. How about it? Do you want to team up? Don't hesitate. Hurry up and nod. If you delay any longer, who knows where that evil demon Yi Fei will run to?" Wang Bai seemed to be very anxious. Chapter 106. Old friend in the end. Yi Fei agreed to team up with Wang Bai. There were 2 reasons for this. Firstly, this Wang Bai was too good at talking. He could even make the dead come back to life. If he continued to reject him, this fellow might become a fly, which was extremely annoying. Secondly, Yi Fei also wanted to find out how the Zhao Kingdom's royal family was going to deal with him through Wang Bai. At this time, it also showed the foresight of the former city lord. If he hadn't secretly reminded Yi Fei to disguise himself when he came over, Yi Fei would probably have been recognized by someone and would be hunted down for no reason. It was just that when he thought about the day when he would team up with others to kill him, no matter how he thought about it, there was a strange feeling. By the way, Brother Wang, you said that Zhao gave the order to kill Yi Fei. Could the royal family have any influence on the Holy Land? Yi Fei chatted with Wang Bai as they walked. Holding a compass in his hand, Wang Bai explained without raising his head, "Brother, you don't even know this? The royal families of the 18 countries in the North Sea seem to be very powerful. But in fact, they are all secretly supported by the sacred grounds to help them manage the mortals. You also know that no matter how strong the Holy Lands are, if they don't have a huge mortal country to provide them with an endless supply of resources and talents, no matter how strong the Holy Lands are, they will still decline. In return, the Holy Lands will also give these royal families some special treatment, just like Wu Province. After Wang Bai finished explaining, he seemed to have thought of something. He patted his head and said, "Look at me, I'm so confused. I haven't asked for your name yet. Looking at you, you seem to be from Zhao City. You should know something about that demon Yi Fei, right? F***CK. I am Yi Fei, and I'm standing right in front of you. How can you not understand me?" Yi Fei was extremely speechless. Of course, he was not stupid enough to reveal his real name. Instead, he shook his head and said, "Just call me Zhou Guang. Although I'm from the Zhao Kingdom, I've always been traveling around. I don't know about Yi Fei. Also, he's definitely not a demon." "How do you know?" Wang Bai asked casually. Yi Fei rolled his eyes and thought to himself, "I'm standing right in front of you, so of course I know." However, after some thought, he decided to keep his mouth shut. The Zhao Kingdom's royal family's kill order was too ruthless. The reward wasn't gold and silver, but a royal princess. This was enough to arouse the desire of many people. After some observation, Yi Fei also discovered that he and Wang Bai had met no less than 5 groups of people who were ferociously inquiring about Yi Fei's whereabouts. Those lone youths who came to participate in the assessment were the targets of their interrogation. Almost every time they found one, they would rush up and interrogate them. Yi Fei immediately rejoiced. He secretly thought that although Wang Bai was a little narcissistic and talkative, he was still a good shield. When the passers-by saw Wang Bai holding a compass and muttering Yi Fei's name, as if he was trying to determine the direction, they automatically categorized Wang Bai and Yi Fei as people like them. If they knew that the demon they were searching for was right in front of them, they would probably be angered to death. Bastard. Good heavens, this compass is simply a scam." After walking for a while, Wang Bai, who had been looking down at the compass, suddenly looked up. He gritted his teeth and wished he could throw the compass away. Yi Fei asked curiously, "Brother Wang, what's wrong? Just call me Wang Bai. We're brothers. There's no need to treat me like an outsider." Wang Bai laughed and patted Yi Fei's shoulder. Then he pointed at the compass in his hand and gritted his teeth. "Brother, I've been scammed. When I bought this compass, that stinky old Taoist said it was amazing. No matter who it was, it would be accurate. Now, it keeps indicating that Yi Fei is right beside us. But look, we've been walking for so long, and we haven't seen any trace of that demon. Don't you think that's infuriating?" Yi Fei really didn't know how to respond. However, this Wang Bai was really slow. "I've been walking around you for so long, and you didn't even notice? Forget it. Why don't we stop looking and try our luck at the Holy Land assessment location first?" Yi Fei suggested. After seeing Wang Bai's unique secret technique, he didn't dare to wander around casually. If he wanted to deal with the Zhao Kingdom's must-kill order, he had to find a way to join the Holy Land as soon as possible. Once he joined the Holy Land, the must-kill order would immediately become ineffective. Brother, you're the quick-witted one. Why didn't I think that the demon Yi Fei was actually here to participate in the assessment? Maybe he was in disguise and secretly mixed in with the disciples taking the assessment. I'll take you there now." Wang Bai slapped his head. Yi Fei's suggestion cheered him up. He definitely wouldn't use that unreliable compass. Wang Bai took the lead and walked forward, intending to take Yi Fei to the assessment location to try his luck. Yi Fei immediately broke out in cold sweat. He couldn't help but worry for Wang Bai. This guy's reaction was so slow that it made one's hair stand on end. He wasn't very strong either. How could he pass the Holy Land assessment like this? Sigh. Shaking his head and sighing, Yi Fei didn't say much. He lifted his foot and was about to walk toward the assessment location when suddenly, not far ahead, a very familiar, beautiful figure seemed to flash by. Then, a very unpleasant conversation ensued. "Beauty, don't go. How about staying and making friends? Look at us brothers. We're all full of energy. We can totally satisfy your needs. Little junior sister, Even if you don't want us to satisfy you, do us the honor of taking off the veil on your head and letting us see how beautiful you are. Shut up, all of you. Can't you see that the beauty is angry? Besides, the veil on a beauty's face is like a barrier in her body. If you don't truly like her, you have no right to break it. So that's how it is. Brother Chun is wise. However, us brothers just love the feeling of breaking through that barrier. Hee hee. The people pestering the beautiful figure were also a group of youths who had come to participate in the assessment. However, all of them looked unfriendly. One look, and you could tell that they weren't good people. Originally, they were the same as many people who had come to participate in the assessment. They were very interested in Zhao's leaf-killing token and were busy searching the crowd for a while. In the end, they didn't find Yi Fei. Instead, when they were interrogating a lone passerby, they accidentally found a beauty. Although the beauty quickly covered her face with a veil, the moment she revealed her beauty still made these people infatuated. They immediately began to pester her, wanting to get close to her. Seeing that the beauty had no intention of paying attention to them, these people became even angrier. Their words were simply vulgar. Their goal was self-evident. It was to anger the veiled woman and make her angry to make a move. Then, these people would use the excuse of counterattacking to swarm her. They would openly touch and pinch her a few times, taking advantage of the opportunity to take advantage of her. However, the veiled woman was very patient. Or rather, she saw that these people had bad intentions. She didn't impulsively make a move. Instead, she remained silent and lowered her head, trying to avoid them. Unfortunately, the veiled woman's strength was still too low. She was only a 5th-layer martial master. Under the harassment of these ordinary 7th or 8th-layer martial master disciples, there was no way for her to escape or avoid them. It's actually her. Yi Fei looked at the veiled figure, and his expression suddenly became incomparably strange. If he wasn't mistaken, the veiled woman in front of him seemed to be Princess Zhao Yu. Chapter 107. Make a move to be honest. Yi Fei had never dreamed that Princess Zhao Yu would also come to Taishan City. She seemed to have come before him to participate in the assessment. However, when he thought about it, Zhao Yu did not return to Wu Province when the Yi League was busy migrating. Instead, he went straight back to the Imperial City. This was probably why Zhao Yu had arrived at the Taishan Holy Land earlier than him. Seeing that Zhao Yu was in trouble, Yi Fei subconsciously did not want to stand up for him. But after seeing the reactions of the people around him, Yi Fei could not help but sigh. They were already close to the center of the Holy Land assessment, and there were many disciples participating in the assessment. Seeing a female disciple being threatened, it was reasonable to say that many people would be willing to step forward and help Zhao Yu out. However, this was not the case. When they saw that Zhao Yu was being harassed, there were indeed some disciples who wanted to step forward and stop them. However, when they clearly saw the people who were harassing Zhao Yu, they helplessly stopped in their tracks. Some of them did not understand, and under the whispers of their companions, they shook their heads dejectedly and began to watch from the sidelines. How could Yi Fei not see that these people might be related to the Holy Land? Or they might have someone backing them. That was why they were so unscrupulous. What a bunch of beasts! Seeing such a beautiful woman being harassed by a few road disciples. Even the slow-witted Wang Bai couldn't stand it anymore and sighed. But the first half of his sentence sounded reasonable, but the second half made Yi Fei want to kick this guy out and beat him to death. After saying that, Wang Bai immediately added, "Even if you want to take advantage of me, I should be the one to do it. Are these scumbags as handsome as me?" Yi Fei didn't know what to say. Seeing that Zhao Yu was really in trouble, he could not sit idly by. Not to mention that he had swallowed Zhao Yu's divine fire and owed her a favor. The old chief had taken care of his family, Yi, and himself. He could not let anything happen to Zhao Yu. Yi Fei could only quickly step forward and stand in front of the disciples. He said, "Everyone, this is too much. You are harassing a woman and insulting her. Where is the demeanor of a disciple of the Holy Land?" "It's Yi." Zhao Yu looked at Yi Fei in surprise and was about to speak. Yi Fei's face changed. This crazy woman. I'm Yi Fei. Zhao Yu, I want to help you, but you want to harm me? Without waiting for Zhao Yu to speak, Yi Fei had already covered Zhao Yu's mouth with his hand and said, Cousin, that's right. I, Zhou Guang, have also come to participate in the assessment. Only you and I know about this, but please don't let the family know. Zhao Yu blinked. She finally remembered that Yi Fei had already been ordered to be killed by the Zhao Kingdom's royal family. Yi Fei was doing this because he did not want his identity to be exposed. The only thing Zhao Yu was unhappy about was that he could have just hinted at her and transmitted his voice. Why did he have to cover her mouth? He even got touchy with her. Anger instantly flared up. Zhao Yu quickly slapped Yi Fei's hand away and stepped on Yi Fei's foot. She smiled and said, So it's cousin Zhou Guang. If you don't want me to tell your family, I can do that. Help me get rid of these annoying people. After saying that, Zhao Yu even used her heel to stomp on Yi Fei's foot. Only then did she walk to the side in a relaxed manner. She felt inexplicably relieved when she saw Yi Fei. Feeling the excruciating pain for being stomped on, Yi Fei could only smile bitterly. What else could he say? Just now, he had subconsciously covered Zhao Yu's mouth in a moment of desperation. It was rare that this crazy woman did not flip out and fight him to the death. She only stomped on his foot. It was already very rare. Yi Fei did not reject Zhao Yu's request. Since she was willing to stand up, he decided to intervene. Scram, this is my cousin. If I hear you speak dirty words again, don't blame me for being impolite. Yi Fei stared at these disciples with a fierce glint in his eyes. He did not have a good impression of these people who only knew how to bully the weak. Seeing Yi Fei suddenly intervene, these disciples were all stunned. However, when they discovered that Yi Fei's strength was only at the 7th level of the martial master realm and that he dared to tell them to scram, they began to laugh impudently. So what if you're my cousin? You dare to tell us to scram? I'm afraid your strength is not enough. Do you know who's behind us? Say it and you'll piss your pants. I don't care if you're relatives or not. In short, our young master Ouyang has taken a fancy to this woman. Hurry up and get her to take off her veil and let us take a look. If she's good-looking, let her stay by young master Ouyang's side and be a maidservant. If she's average, we brothers will reluctantly let her sleep with us for a night. This matter will be over just like that. These examinees relied on their high strength and backing. How could they put Yi Fei, who was at the 7th level of the martial master, in their eyes? Their mouths were still filled with filthy words, which were especially disgusting. Shameless. Zhao Yu clenched her fists in anger. The joints of her fingers were starting to turn white. A dignified princess had never been humiliated like this before. Yi Fei was also angry, but he did not speak. Instead, he used his actions to express his anger. Shua. His figure moved, and he had already charged towards the person who spoke the most disgusting words. He slapped half of that person's face on the spot, knocking out all the teeth in half of that person's mouth. Only then did Yi Fei return to his original position. This Zhou Guang is very strong. A 7th level martial master actually shattered the teeth of an 8th level martial master. So what if he's strong? Here, how many people would dare to compete with Ouyang Jia? This person hit his subordinate, so he definitely won't have a good ending. The surrounding disciples did not avoid Yi Fei when they spoke. Yi Fei also heard a useful piece of information. These people were so arrogant because they were relying on the power of someone called Ouyang Jia. Ah, brat, the mud actually sneak attacked the goose. Give the goose a beating and die in vain. That person's mouth was full of air from Yi Fei's slap. Looking at the broken teeth on the ground, he was so angry that his stomach was about to explode. He was about to bring his companions up to take revenge. Bang! A large compass smashed into that person's head on the spot, causing his head to bleed. He didn't even make a sound before he fainted on the spot. All of you stop. Don't you know that this Zhou Guang is under my protection? How dare you hit my brother? Have you asked for my permission? Wang Bai walked over unhurriedly and stood beside Yi Fei. He did not forget to tell everyone that Yi Fei was under his protection. Many people were speechless when they heard this. Yi Fei was only a 7th level martial master. Did he need a shameless 6th-level martial master to protect him? Those who could participate in the Holy Land assessment were basically geniuses from various countries. Of course, they could tell that Yi Fei was using his true strength to hit someone. Wang Bai was purely using a shameless sneak attack. The disciple just now did not expect Wang Bai to dare to hit him with a compass. He was caught off guard and was unlucky enough to faint on the spot. Brother Wang, I appreciate your kindness, but this has nothing to do with you. Yi Fei kindly reminded him. Wang Bai was a good person. He did not want Wang Bai to be implicated. Brother, don't be polite. Who asked you to be under my protection? My move just now is not bad, right? Do you admire me? Are you surprised? Don't be shy. Don't worry and say it boldly. Wang Bai was still immersed in the joy of his sneak attack. Yi Fei was immediately speechless. Chapter 108. Ouyang Jie, however, these examinees did not impulsively attack Yi Fei again. There were only 5 of them. They could bully the 5th-stage martial master Zhao Yu, but they were not enough to bully Yi Fei. Just now, Yi Fei had joined forces with Wang Bai and successfully knocked out one of them. Unfortunately, that person was the strongest among them. Even though it was now 4 against 3, they still had the advantage of 1 person. They didn't dare to attack Yi Fei rashly. What should we do? Ever since we followed young Master Ouyang, we have never suffered a loss in Taishan City. If we show weakness, we will lose all our prestige. We can only inform young Master Ouyang. This woman is so beautiful even with her face covered. If she were to take off her veil, she would definitely be so beautiful. Yes, go and inform young Master Ouyang to help us. The remaining 2 said it together. Then 2 of them stayed behind to look after each other, while the other 2 prepared to run off to invite experts. There's no need to inform me. I'm already here. At this time, the onlookers suddenly parted like a tide. Ouyang Jie's face was as clear as jade. He was dressed in black and slowly walked over from a distance. It turned out that there were already disciples who were trying to curry favor with Ouyang Jie and had informed him about this matter in advance. Young Master Ouyang, you must uphold justice for us. We were merely following your orders to find a maid for you. In the end, this woman did not know what was good for her. Not only did she slander young Master, she even had her cousin knock one of us unconscious. These people surrounded the Ouyang Jie like lapdogs, whining and pointing at Yi Fei and Wang Bai as they complained. Ouyang Jie ignored their complaints. As soon as he appeared, his gaze was attracted by the beautiful figure standing at the side. Even a fool would know that the purpose of Ouyang Jie's visit this time was not to stand up for his subordinates. It was completely because of Zhao Yu's beauty. What else could Yi Fei say other than secretly lamenting that beauty was a source of calamity? Sometimes, being too beautiful was also a sin, especially in the world of martial artists where strength was everything. Good, what a beauty! It's a pity that you're wearing a veil and I can't see clearly. Let me take a closer look and see how beautiful you are. Whoosh! A gust of wind rose from the ground, not giving Zhao Yu a chance to react. The veil on her face had already been blown away. Yi Fei narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, this person is already a martial arts grandmaster at such a young age. It seems that his talent is not ordinary. Through the Ouyang Jie, Yi Fei looked at the other examinees and found that there were more than 50 people who could make him feel threatened. After that, Yi Fei recalled that this was the Holy Land assessment after all. The top geniuses of various countries would be gathered here, so he understood. Ouyang Jie didn't see Yi Fei at all. Even if he did, Ouyang Jie would treat Yi Fei as invisible air in front of the devastatingly beautiful woman, especially when he saw Zhao Yu's face exposed. Ouyang Jie began to speak in a genteel manner. There are beauties in the northern kingdom who can captivate the birds and beasts and outshine the moon and the flowers. My trip here in person was not in vain. This beauty, I am Ouyang Jie, the young master of the Ouyang family in Taishan City. I have the talent of the Earth grade 5th rank. May I be your friend? Boom! Before Zhao Yu could speak, Ouyang Jie had already shown the quality of his dantian, intending to leave the deepest impression on Zhao Yu. The blue light all over his body dazzled the eyes of countless people present. Oh my God, the Earth grade 5th rank. As expected of young Master Ouyang. With Ouyang Jie's talent, he is definitely the first in our batch of examinees. I heard that an elder of the Holy Land said that he wanted to take Ouyang Jie as a disciple in advance. His participation in the assessment this time is just a formality. Listening to the discussions of the people around him and looking at Ouyang Jie's body that was covered in azure light, Yi Fei secretly nodded his head. This place was indeed a sacred ground. He had taken countless risks to raise the quality of his Dantian to Earth Grade 1. But in the end, any random disciple from the Holy Land was at the Earth Grade 5th rank. This was the gap between them, and it was also the motivation for him to move forward. Your talent has nothing to do with me. I'm not interested in being friends with you. Although Zhao Yu was surprised by Ouyang Jie's talent, this princess still refused him without giving him any face. Ouyang Jie's smug face suddenly stiffened. How could a woman refuse him? This had never happened in Taishan City. Ouyang Jie had even slept with the top 10 beauties of Taishan City. But when he saw Zhao Yu's face, which was obviously 10 times more beautiful than the top 10 beauties, Ouyang Jie suppressed his displeasure and continued to look at Zhao Yu affectionately. Beauty, from the first time I saw you, I found that I liked you. No matter how you refuse, I, Ouyang Jie, will use my sincerity to move you and make you accept me. Oh, when Wang Bai heard this, he made a retching expression on the spot. Yi Fei also felt his stomach churning. He couldn't stand it anymore. Since he had decided to help, he would protect Zhao Yu to the end, just like the old chief was willing to risk the destruction of Wu province to protect Yi Ming. You are so annoying. My cousin and I are here to take the exam, not to listen to your disgusting words. Are you done? If you are, then hurry up and leave. Yi Fei stepped forward and blocked Ouyang Jie's line of sight. Zhao Yu was relieved. She quickly took out a light veil to cover her face and looked at Yi Fei gratefully. If Yi Fei hadn't stepped in, she wouldn't have been able to deal with a martial arts grandmaster. How dare you talk to young Master Ouyang like that? Boy, why don't you kneel down and kowtow to young Master Ouyang and apologize? Seeing Yi Fei appear, Ouyang Jie's followers immediately began to scold Yi Fei. Ouyang Jie also looked at Yi Fei disdainfully. When he realized that Yi Fei was only a 7th grade martial master, he was even more disdainful. He acted as if Yi Fei didn't exist and said, I am talking to a beauty. What right do you have to interrupt? He is my cousin. What right do you have to interrupt when I am talking to my cousin? Zhao Yu spoke up for Yi Fei. Yi Fei was a little surprised. He felt that Zhao Yu was actually quite a character. She wasn't even afraid of a martial arts grandmaster. Haha, Ouyang Jie is going to be rebuffed this time. He can't even subdue a woman. How can he be an Earth-grade genius? What a joke. Many people in the crowd were envious of Ouyang Jie's 5th grade Earth-grade talent, so they started to talk about it. Ouyang Jie's face stiffened again. He was already unhappy with Zhao Yu's rejection. What made him even more unhappy was that these people were talking about him behind his back. He couldn't stand it. His anger burned fiercely. Ouyang Jie, who couldn't vent his anger on Zhao Yu, simply vented all his anger on Yi Fei. However, even if he was angry, Ouyang Jie couldn't see Yi Fei at all. Chapter 109. The Battle of the Geniuses. Ouyang Jie, how dare you? Zhao Yu could not help but feel nervous. Ouyang Jie's strength was obvious. He was a martial ancestor realm expert with Earth Grade 5 talent. Zhao Yu wasn't sure if Yi Fei could withstand such a strong opponent. Why wouldn't I? Not only is this trash standing next to you affecting your mood, it's also greatly affecting mine. Ouyang Jie's face was filled with pride. No matter how good a person's temper was, they wouldn't be able to tolerate such words. Moreover, Yi Fei's temper wasn't very good to begin with. He took a step forward with a cold expression and asked, Is an Earth Grade 5 talent that great? Don't tell me you're stronger than everyone here. A mere martial master like you is not qualified to speak to me, Ouyang Jie. I don't dare to say anything else, but among the new disciples, if I, Ouyang Jie, claim to be second, no one would dare to claim to be first. I also don't care if you're the cousin of the beauty or some other relative. From now on, immediately disappear. Don't hinder my enjoyment of the beauty, Ouyang Jie said with disdain. When he looked at Zhao Yu, his disdain turned into passion and a strong desire to monopolize her. How dare you? A mere 5th grade D-ranked cultivator dares to be cocky in front of me? Ouyang Jie, do you know the quality of my dantian? Yi Fei's sudden roar instantly attracted everyone's attention. Many people looked at Yi Fei in surprise. He didn't even put Ouyang Jie's Earth Grade 5 talent in his eyes. Could it be that this person was even more powerful than Ouyang Jie? Ouyang Jie was also a little surprised. He finally sized up Yi Fei and asked with some vigilance, "Oh, what is the quality of your dantian? Show me." Yi Fei's words made Ouyang Jie cautious. Those who could come to the Holy Land to participate in the assessment were all geniuses from various countries. If they weren't careful, they might offend geniuses that they couldn't afford to offend. Even so, Ouyang Jie felt that such a probability was almost impossible for him. Many disciples also looked at Yi Fei with anticipation. "Let me show you. You don't have the qualifications. If I tell you my talent, you'll be scared to death. Stand still and listen carefully. I have a 1st grade Earth grade talent. If you know what's good for you, you'd better not provoke me." Yi Fei had an arrogant look on his face. His words shocked many of the examinees. An Earth grade talent was enough to attract the attention of the sacred land. No wonder Yi Fei dared to challenge Ouyang Jie. Then, everyone was stunned again. Wait a minute, Earth grade 1 talent was indeed very strong, but compared to Earth grade 5 Ouyang Jie, it was like heaven and earth. How could Yi Fei dare to challenge Ouyang Jie? Many people finally understood that Yi Fei was just toying with Ouyang Jie. Ouyang Jie was instantly furious. His followers were even more furious. When Yi Fei was toying with Ouyang Jie just now, they were also shocked. They really thought that they had offended a genius who was more powerful than Ouyang Jie. Therefore, before Ouyang Jie could say anything, these people had already jumped out in exasperation. "How dare you? You're just a 1st grade Earth grade talent. You may be a genius in front of others, but in front of young Master Ouyang, you're a complete piece of trash. How dare you talk to young Master Ouyang like that? Do you know that our young Master Ouyang is the #1 genius among the new disciples? #1 genius? Ouyang Jie, aren't you too arrogant? Do you really think that you're invincible just because you're a 5th grade Earth grade talent?" A discordant voice came from afar. Yi Fei looked in the direction of the voice and found that the one who spoke was a majestic young man wearing animal skin. Of course, behind this young man, there were many examinees like Ouyang Jie. Yi Fei knew that this person was also one of the strongest examinees like Ouyang Jie. Sure enough, seeing this young man wearing animal skin, Ouyang Jie didn't have time to settle accounts with Yi Fei. Instead, he said to the young man wearing animal skin with fear, "Gu man, it's you. I don't have any grudges with you. Why do you want to ruin my good thing?" I don't like you, so I want to ruin your good thing. What can you do? #1 genius. You're quite good at bragging. Gu man snorted coldly. This was the reason why he stood out. Ouyang Jie was very strong among the examinees, but it didn't mean that he didn't have any opponents. For example, this Gu man was very strong. Hearing Ouyang Jie boasting that he was the #1 genius, Gu man of course had to stand out and argue with him. Ouyang Jie realized that his subordinate had said something wrong and made Gu man unhappy. However, he wouldn't back down. He still said proudly, "Gu man, you're only a 4th grade Earth grade talent. Do you really want to compete with me for the #1 position?" The quality of the dantian doesn't represent strength. Why don't we have a fight now and decide who's better? The beauty will belong to whoever wins. Gu man glanced at Zhao Yu. He was also stunned. At the same time, he was like Ouyang Jie, treating Yi Fei as if he didn't exist. Yi Fei couldn't help but get angry. He was a living person, but he was treated as if he didn't exist. No one could tolerate this kind of thing. Cough, cough. I say, the two of you want to pursue my cousin. Don't tell me you don't ask for my opinion. It doesn't seem good to be fighting like this. Yi Fei deliberately said to disgust the two of them. Ouyang Jia and Gu Man's faces turned ugly at the same time. Scram! You're just a 7th grade martial master trash. How dare you talk to our Prince Gu Man like this? Without waiting for Gu Man to speak, the follower behind him had already stood out angrily. Without waiting for this person to speak, a sword chi suddenly pierced through his shoulder, causing him to break out in cold sweat. You're the ones who should scram. Bullying the weak makes you think you're very powerful, right? Yi Fei withdrew his sword and took another step forward. He actually stood opposite Ouyang Jia and Gu Man at the same time. The three of them stood like a tripod, causing many of the examinees to turn pale. They thought that Yi Fei had gone crazy. He actually dared to talk to the two strongest new disciples like this. Ouyang Jia's face had already turned ashen. He suddenly laughed sinisterly and took a step back. He looked at Gu Man and said jokingly, "Ha, Gu Man, even a 7th grade martial master trash can ignore you. You still want to compete with me for first place?" Yi Fei felt that Ouyang Jia was really sinister. This clearly showed that he wanted to provoke Gu Man's hatred towards him, although this hatred was unavoidable when he attacked and injured Gu Man's subordinates. But Yi Fei was fearless. The old mansion master was kind to him, and Zhao Yu had also fought side by side with him. In his heart, Yi Fei no longer had any hatred toward Zhao Yu. Instead, he treated him as a friend. Now that Zhao Yu was being pestered, even if he knew the difference in strength between the two sides, Yi Fei still stood up. Zhao Yu's gaze towards Yi Fei also became much gentler. "You're courting death. You're just a piece of trash. How dare you talk to this prince like this?" Gu Man was really stubborn. When Ouyang Jia provoked him, he became angry. His eyes widened on the spot. Suddenly, he threw a punch at Yi Fei. This punch was like a savage beast coming down from the mountain, like a flood dragon coming out of the sea. Just the strength contained within it was unknown how many kilograms. If such a punch hit a martial master, even a 10th grade martial master would be seriously injured. The most terrifying thing was that Gu Man didn't use any true essence when he threw this punch. It was purely the strength of his physical body. Chapter 110. Beat back the enemy with a single punch. It's over. This kid named Zhou Guang has talent, but unfortunately, he's too impulsive. He should take a look at himself. How dare he provoke Ouyang Jia and Gu Man at the same time, the two strongest experts? Do all of you think that Gu Man's punch would directly smash that kid to death? Even if he doesn't die, he'll be bedridden for a few months. When they saw Gu Man make a move, the surrounding examinees discussed animatedly. Some sighed, some shook their heads, and some couldn't bear to see Yi Fei being beaten to the point of vomiting blood. Zhao Yu was so nervous that his hands were clasped together. In Zhao City, she was a high and mighty princess. Only when she came to the Holy Land did she realize that she was nothing. There were too many geniuses in the Holy Land, and those who were stronger than her were everywhere. With her strength and status, she couldn't protect herself until Yi Fei appeared. At this time, Zhao Yu naturally did not want anything to happen to Yi Fei. However, because Yi Fei's back was facing them, Zhao Yu and many other people didn't notice that Yi Fei didn't show any fear when facing Gu Man's punch. Instead, he was full of excitement. It's actually the power of his physical body. This Gu Man is not simple. Yi Fei's eyes brightened. Ever since he cultivated the demon Sovereign Sutra, he had never had a physical contest with anyone. This was an opportunity. It just so happened that he could judge the gap between him and these Earth-ranked geniuses through his fight with Gu Man Kill. Battle Demon Golden Body. Yi Fei punched out. It was the same punch, but there was no quintessential essence in it. It was purely based on the strength of his physical body. What? This guy wants to compete with Gu Man in terms of physical strength. What a reckless fool. Who does he think he is? Let's see how he's going to be tortured by Gu Man. The surrounding disciples were shocked. Then they sneered. "Ha, this is great. Among the new disciples, no one dares to go head-to-head with me, Gu Man. You're the first. If you can take one of my punches without being injured, then I, Gu Man, will admit that you are not trash, but have the qualifications to be my opponent." Gu Man laughed wildly as he waved his fists, causing the air to explode. Yi Fei was expressionless. He shook his head coldly. "So what if I take 10 of your punches? Break. Rumble." When the two fists collided, the sound of metal striking metal actually rang out at the same time. The sound of the explosion caused the eardrums of many disciples to ring. Even more people's expressions changed drastically. How could this be? What did they see? Yi Fei had actually taken Gu Man's punch head-on and remained unscathed. Of course, he wasn't completely unscathed. Yi Fei could clearly sense that his battle demon golden body had been broken. The difference between their realms was too great. Gu Man was already in the 3rd level of the martial ancestor realm, while Yi Fei was only in the 7th level of the martial master realm. With such a huge gap between their cultivation levels, no matter how strong the battle demon golden body's defense was, it still couldn't withstand it. Dang, dang, dang. Yi Fei continuously retreated 3 steps, leaving 3 deep footprints on the ground. Only then did he completely neutralize the impact of Gu Man's punch. Even so, Yi Fei's performance still shocked everyone present, including Zhao Yu, Ouyang Jie, and Gu Man. Heavens, that kid actually took Gu Man's punch head-on and wasn't injured at all. Could it be that he's the same as Gu Man and also walks the path of body refinement? Powerful, too powerful. A martial master fighting a martial ancestor realm and still able to take Gu Man's punch head-on. This person can be considered a genius. The examinees present were truly shocked. Of course, if they knew that Yi Fei had once killed a martial ancestor realm, many of them would probably wet their pants on the spot. Zhao Yu was also shocked and covered her mouth. At this moment, she finally understood why her grandfather wanted to protect Yi Fei with all his strength, even risking the fate of the entire Tianyan Wufu. Wang Bai's mouth had already turned into a circle. Obviously, he was also shocked. Then, he became complacent and said to everyone he met, "Did you see that? That's my little brother under my protection. His skills were all taught by me. Get lost. Do you think we're stupid? If you really had the ability, you wouldn't have been so scared that you hid behind the crowd when Gu Man punched." These examinees didn't buy it. They kicked and punched Wang Bai and sent him back. Yi Fei's face also darkened. However, he didn't have time to care about Wang Bai in front of a powerful enemy. He just stared at Gu Man and shook his head. "Your body is very strong. I'm still not your opponent." Gu Man's face changed a few times. Suddenly, he shook his head straightforwardly. "You're not bad either. If your strength is on par with mine, we can have a good fight. Gu Man, admit that you're not trash. At some point in the future, we might become opponents." Of course, there was one thing that Gu Man didn't say. That was if Yi Fei provoked the Ouyang Jie and could still come out unscathed. Gu Man gave Yi Fei a deep look, then turned around and left. "Let's go." Yi Fei looked at Gu Man, who was leaving. He had a slightly better impression of Gu Man. At least Gu Man didn't take advantage of the situation and continued to attack when his golden body was broken. After exchanging blows with Gu Man, Yi Fei had finally discovered his own shortcoming, which was that his cultivation level was still too low. This had also greatly limited his battle devil golden body. If his cultivation level was high enough, or the same as Gu Man's, then it would be hard to say who would win this battle. Clap, clap, clap. A burst of crisp applause interrupted Yi Fei's contemplation. The one who was clapping was actually the Ouyang Jie. This person definitely didn't have any good intentions. Seeing Gu Man leave, Ouyang Jie smiled evilly and clapped his hands. "Trash, you do have some skills. You actually took a punch from Gu Man. How about this? Let's have a competition. If I win, you'll have to let your cousin accompany me once. If you win, I'll let you go once. How about it?" Despicable. Zhao Yu's face turned white with anger. Yi Fei's face also sank. He knew that if Ouyang Jie made a move, he would definitely not be like Gu Man, who would only use pure strength. It was very likely that Ouyang Jie would use some kind of powerful martial art to severely injure him. After all, the battle demon golden body had been broken. For a short period of time, Yi Fei couldn't use the Devil Emperor scripture to defend himself. If Ouyang Jia really attacked, he would have no choice but to use the extraterrestrial divine flame or the devouring sword intent. These two things were the symbol of the evil demon, Yi Fei. Once they were exposed, the examinees would immediately know that he was Yi Fei. Coupled with Zhao Yu's femme fatale appearance, he might end up being attacked by the crowd. Zhao Yu also understood this point. At this moment, she didn't care about being shy. She suddenly grabbed Yi Fei's hand and quickly walked towards the other side. Cousin, let's ignore him. This is the Holy Land. I don't believe that he can kill us in public. Zhao Yu wanted to use this method to protect Yi Fei. However, Yi Fei smiled bitterly and said to himself, "Silly girl, do you think this is Zhao? You're a femme fatale. Now that you're publicly holding my hand, isn't this even more stimulating to Ouyang Jie?" As expected, when he saw the woman he liked actually holding someone else's hand, especially this person who was the trash in his eyes, young Master Ouyang couldn't stand it anymore. His elegant demeanor instantly disappeared. Ouyang Jie's handsome face suddenly revealed a trace of ferocity. "You want to leave? Take my palm first." The wind whistled and turned into a terrifying killing intent. It instantly enveloped Yi Fei and Zhao Yu. Yi Fei's footsteps paused. His eyes turned cold, and his hand was already on the hilt of the devouring soul sword. "If others don't offend me, I won't offend them. If anyone offends me, I'll kill them 10 times over." If this Ouyang Jie pushed him too far, he would deal with this person to the end, even if he risked exposing his identity. The surrounding examinees also held their breaths, waiting for Ouyang Jie to make his move. Boom! The nearby air suddenly shook violently. Then it began to glow. A huge crack, like an ancient door, opened in the void. It's the Holy Land. The Holy Land is open. Chapter 111. Holy Land Examination. Hearing the voices of these people, Yi Fei looked up into the sky. Indeed, he saw that the crack in the Holy Land was getting bigger and bigger. In the end, it formed a simple and unadorned door in front of everyone. Even though the old mansion master had told him that the sacred ground was located in an independent secret realm, it was still a mystery. However, when Yi Fei saw this mystic realm, he was just like most of the people present. He was amazed. This was no longer a simple mystic realm. The Holy Land was a small world of its own. The door of light in front of him was the entrance to the small world. As long as he walked in, it meant that he had truly joined the Holy Land. Similarly, the battle between Yi Fei and Ouyang Jie was instantly ignored in front of the elders of the Holy Land. Countless pairs of eyes stared longingly at the two purple-robed elders who walked out of the Holy Land. Yi Fei's hand, which was originally on the soul-devouring sword, was put down. At the same time, he gave Ouyang Jie a provocative look. "Do you still dare to make a move in front of the elder?" If Ouyang Jie really dared to make a move, Yi Fei would accompany him to the end. He was not someone who would swallow his anger. Ouyang Jie was so angry that his face turned purple. However, the elder had already appeared. No matter how arrogant Ouyang Jie was, he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of the elder. If he did, it would definitely affect the elder's impression of him. This was not what Ouyang Jie wanted to see. When the Holy Land's light door opened, Ouyang Jie hurriedly restrained the vital essence that was about to erupt. He unwillingly made a throat-slitting gesture at Yi Fei. Then, ignoring Yi Fei, he led a group of followers and hurriedly walked forward, hoping to be the first to speak to the elder. However, due to this slight delay, Guman had already taken the initiative to go up and talk to the elder. Ouyang Jie was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He suddenly hated Yi Fei even more. If Yi Fei hadn't wasted his time, how could he have missed the first opportunity to talk to the elder? Good. Your name is Guman, right? Your beast body is very rare in our Holy Land. Work hard. The Holy Land welcomes you. One of the purple-robed elders noticed Guman's special physique and immediately looked at him in a new light. The other elder also encouraged the other Earth-grade geniuses who had gathered around. Don't be discouraged with your talents. You may become the core strength of my holy land in the future. All right, I won't say any more. Those who need to be tested, follow me into the Holy Land." Without giving Ouyang Jie a chance to speak alone, the elder waved his hand, indicating for everyone to follow him into the Holy Land to participate in the assessment. Many people subconsciously looked at Ouyang Jie. Guman was not polite at all. He gave his opponent a mocking look. Ouyang Jie continued to smile and tried his best to show an indifferent expression. However, his ugly expression clearly told everyone that he was very angry, especially when Ouyang Jie turned his head to glare at Yi Fei. He realized that Yi Fei and Zhao Yu's hand were still holding each other's hands. Ouyang Jie's angry face couldn't help but reveal an ominous glint. "Cousin, thank you for just now. Be careful during the assessment. Ouyang Jie won't let you off easily." Zhao Yu's face was slightly red. Fortunately, the veil covered it so Yi Fei couldn't see it. Zhao Yu didn't follow everyone to participate in the assessment. Instead, she let go of Yi Fei's hand and walked towards the elder who was still standing there. Yi Fei was a little puzzled. "Zhao Yu, don't you need to participate in the assessment?" "There's no need. Us members of the royal family still have some small privileges in the Holy Land. Every 100 years, one person can directly enter the Holy Land without participating in the assessment. This quota was originally reserved for the Crown Prince, Zhao Ji. I don't know why, but the Empress Dowager suddenly gave it to me." When the Empress Dowager was mentioned, Zhao Yu's face revealed a deep sense of fear and doubt. Finally, she glanced at Yi Fei. Zhao Yu turned and left. Yi Fei couldn't help but smile bitterly. Although Zhao Yu spoke vaguely, he could still tell that Zhao Yu was sent to the Holy Land this time because of him. It wasn't hard to guess the reason. It must be that the Empress Dowager that Zhao Yu mentioned secretly hated him for killing the Crown Prince and felt that it wasn't enough to issue a kill order. After all, no one cared about this princess's beauty, so they couldn't provoke the geniuses of the Holy Land to kill him. This Empress Dowager was indeed very resourceful. She actually thought of sending Zhao Yu to the Holy Land. This way, as long as everyone saw Zhao Yu's femme fatale appearance, there would definitely be countless so-called geniuses jumping out to kill him and win the beauty's heart. This Empress Dowager's methods are really vicious. Yi Fei smiled bitterly and sighed. At the same time, he secretly rejoiced that no one had discovered his identity yet. Although there were still many people who didn't give up and desperately tried to find traces of Demon Yi Fei in the crowd. It was just that most of these people were watching the disciples who were alone. It was also thanks to Wang Bai, this super slow brother, acting as a cover that no one suspected him all the way to the Holy Land. Wang Bai was still muttering, "Brother, don't say that Big Brother isn't protecting you. If the test is too tense, don't be shy. Just tell Big Brother and I'll make the decision for you." Yi Fei glanced at Wang Bai from the corner of his eyes. "You're so nervous that you can't even hold the compass in your hand properly. You're making the decision for me? I think you're the most nervous person here." However, Yi Fei still admired Wang Bai's courage when he thought about how Wang Bai dared to participate in the test with his weak 6th-stage martial master strength. "Wang Bai, let's go together during the test, if there's a chance." Yi Fei felt that Wang Bai was a good person. They had fought side by side just now, so he wanted to help Wang Bai. Wang Bai generously patted Yi Fei's shoulder and said, "Good brother, you're loyal. However, you don't have to be afraid. Even without Big Brother's protection, you still have a high chance of passing the test. If you're really afraid, just call Big Brother's name." Yi Fei was speechless when he heard this. "What's the use of calling you by your name?" After a pause, Yi Fei was still a little worried and said, "Wang Bai, you passed the test. There shouldn't be any problems, right? If there's anything you need, just tell me." So it turns out that you're worried about me, brother. I can understand your feelings, but your vision still needs to be improved. Look around you. Is there anyone who is as handsome as this brother? Whose looks and personality are as good as this brother's? This is called a talent. As long as this brother appears in front of the Holy Lord of the Holy Lands, all of them will fight to recruit me into the Holy Lands." Wang Bai said this very loudly. He was very proud of himself as he combed his 4 eyebrows. The surrounding disciples felt a chill run down their spines and quickly distanced themselves from Wang Bai. They were all disgusted by Wang Bai's narcissism. Now, even fewer people came to check on Yi Fei. Otherwise, if they approached him, not only would they not gain anything, they would also be disgusted by Wang Bai's narcissism. Yi Fei was really speechless at Wang Bai. He was about to speak when the elder's voice suddenly came from the front. This is the location of the test. Do you see the 7-level demon pagoda? All disciples who are participating in the test, line up and enter. As long as you pass the 3rd level, you'll be considered qualified and can enter the Taishan Holy Land. If you pass the 3rd level and above, you'll receive an additional reward. Elder, what if I can't pass the 3rd level? Then that means you don't have the qualifications to enter the Holy Land and will be expelled from the Holy Land. The elder's serious words caused the expressions of many of the participating disciples to change. Those who could participate in the test were all geniuses from various countries. If they couldn't pass the test and return to their countries, it would be extremely humiliating. The purple-robed elder's words caused most of the disciples to become nervous. Chapter 112. Vicious Wager. When the purple-robed elder saw that he had managed to rouse everyone's nerves, he nodded slightly and began to encourage everyone again. Don't worry. Although the demonic memorial tower is hard to pass, as long as you pass the 3rd floor, you will receive a special reward. Level 4, a high-grade mystic grade weapon. Level 5, a low-grade artifact. Level 6, 1 earth-grade medicinal pill that can cleanse the tendons and marrow and increase cultivation and comprehension ability. If you can completely clear the stage, congratulations, you will receive half a talent crystal that can increase the quality of your dantian. Boom! The crowd was in an uproar. The elder's words shocked everyone, including Yi Fei. Who would have thought that an ordinary Holy Land examination would have such generous rewards? This was the foundation of the Holy Land, especially the innate talent crystal. Even Yi Fei was tempted when he heard about it. This was something that could improve the quality of one's dantian. Even though he had the invincible sword soul in his body and could continuously raise the quality of his dantian, if he could raise it by a few grades out of nowhere, he believed that no one would reject such an opportunity. Before the assessment even started, Yi Fei had already set a goal for himself. He had to do his best to clear the stage. This was probably the wish of everyone present. After all, after clearing the trial, not only would they obtain the talent crystal, but more importantly, they would also receive the attention and nurturing of the Holy Land. This was what the geniuses present wanted the most. Yi Fei had already seen that Gu Man and Ouyang Jie had begun to compete with each other again. All right, is everyone clear about the rules? If there are no more questions, you can go in and take the test. The purple-robed elder formed a hand seal, and the originally tightly closed demon spirit pagoda opened with a bang. It was like the mouth of a monster, and waves of cold aura came from within. It looked like a miniature version of hell. The previously excited disciples all had solemn expressions. Everyone present were geniuses from various countries. Just by looking at this aura, they knew that the monster spirit pagoda was incomparably dangerous. Elder, may I ask if we can form a team or work together to pass the trial after we enter? A smart person immediately asked. Unfortunately, you won't have that chance. Don't think that there's only one demonic spirit pagoda. The inside is divided into countless spaces. Each one of you will enter an independent space and face the demonic spirit pagoda by yourself. The violet-robed elder laughed. His words caused the examinees to wail in anguish. Yi Fei finally understood why Wang Bai had rejected his help. He couldn't help but feel a little strange. Could it be that Wang Bai already knew the contents of the test? He looked at Yi Fei and saw that Wang Bai's 4 eyebrows were almost squeezed together. He looked so worried that he could die. He looked at Yi Fei and said, "Brother, don't say that I'm not protecting you. Honestly, I can't do anything either. After you go in, don't miss me too much. If you're scared, remember to call my name. Yeah. Yifei broke out in a cold sweat. He looked at Wang Bai from head to toe. Other than finding that Wang Bai deserved a beating, there was nothing special about him. The examination team had already started to move slowly. Some people were worried, but of course, there were also people who were full of confidence and wanted to quickly pass the examination. Yifei also planned to follow Wang Bai inside. Suddenly, Ouyang Jie seemed to have thought of something. He smiled evilly and raised his hand. Wait, Elder. Ouyang Jie, have a suggestion. Oh, you're that Earth grade, 5th grade genius, Ouyang Jie. You're not bad. If you have any suggestions, just say it. The purple-robed elder smiled and looked at Ouyang Jie. This greatly encouraged Ouyang Jie. Then, he smiled evilly and looked at Yifei. Elder, don't you think it's too monotonous for our sacred ground to have this kind of examination every year? That's why I want to gamble with another disciple to make the examination less monotonous. The purple-robed elder was stunned. However, seeing that Ouyang Jie was indeed very talented, he couldn't refuse too much. So, he nodded and said, Okay, who do you want to gamble with? What do you want to gamble with? Ouyang Jie pointed at Yifei and said loudly, Trash, I want to gamble with you. Do you dare to accept? Whoosh. As expected, everyone's eyes were focused on Yifei. Some were mocking him, some were sympathetic, and some were mocking him. However, no one was optimistic about Yifei. Some people were whispering, Earth grade 1st grade, but he went to provoke Ouyang Jie, Earth grade 5th grade. This guy is probably going to be played to death by Ouyang Jie. The purple-robed elder finally noticed Yifei. He also discovered that Yifei's dantian was indeed Earth grade 1st grade. He couldn't help but cherish this talent. Do you have any grudges with Ouyang Jie? Since you're somewhat talented, I'll let you apologize to Ouyang Jie. Then, this matter will be over. What do you think? The purple-robed elder looked impartial. However, even a fool could see that he was obviously openly siding with Ouyang Jie. Ouyang Jie smiled proudly when he heard this. Yifei's face was filled with anger. It was Ouyang Jie who provoked him first. In the end, the elder actually wanted him to apologize to Ouyang Jie. This elder was really impartial. Yifei instantly lost his good impression of the elder. It was even more impossible for him to apologize to Ouyang Jie. Since Ouyang Jie wanted to pick a fight, he would accept it. Who was afraid of who? A man's head could be broken, his blood could flow, but his spine could never bend. Yifei thought to himself. He also took a few steps forward and walked out from the crowd. Thank you for your kindness, elder. However, I still want to hear how he wants to gamble. The purple-robed elder was furious. He saw that Yifei was somewhat talented and couldn't bear to see Yifei die prematurely. That was why he kindly reminded Yifei to quickly apologize to Ouyang Jie. However, Yifei actually didn't appreciate his kindness. What a shameless fool. The purple-robed elder's face darkened. He flicked his sleeves and walked to the side. He couldn't be bothered to look at Yifei again. Yifei didn't mind. At the same time, he sighed in his heart. Even in a holy land, there were still such snobbish elders. Speak. How do you want to gamble? Yifei looked at Ouyang Jie. It's very simple. We'll gamble whether a piece of trash, like you can reach the 5th level. If you can't, then it's your loss. I won't make things difficult for you. However, in the future, when you see me, you have to kneel down and kowtow to me. Call yourself a slave. Do you dare to accept this gamble? Ouyang Jie said sinisterly. After hearing the contents of the gamble, gasps could be heard everywhere. This gamble was really too vicious. It was simply making a fool out of Yifei. If Yifei lost, even if he joined a holy land in the future, he would have to kneel down and call himself a slave whenever he saw Ouyang Jie. He would definitely lose face and wouldn't be able to raise his head in front of Ouyang Jie for the rest of his life. This is your gamble? Yifei understood Ouyang Jie's intentions. A hint of viciousness flashed across his eyes. He didn't have much enmity with Ouyang Jie. However, this person had proposed such a vicious gamble. This completely angered Yifei. However, Yifei didn't reject this gamble. Firstly, he had already decided that he would try his best to pass the assessment this time. After all, the more important he was to the Holy Land, the safer his family, Yi, in Wu Province would be. Secondly, this assessment was only a test to enter the Holy Land. It wasn't very difficult. Most people could pass the first 3 stages. As for the 4th stage, many geniuses could also pass it if they worked hard. As for the 5th stage, Yi Fei believed that with his own strength, it wasn't impossible for him to pass it. This was because he had the devouring sword intent and the battle demon golden body. If he really couldn't do it, he still had the undying sword soul. Once the undying sword soul was unleashed, even the demon sealing pagoda's infinite heroic spirit king would be wiped out in one strike. What more, a mere demon spirit? That's right. This is my gamble. Do you dare to accept? Ouyang Jie smiled sinisterly. He had deliberately proposed his gamble to Yi Fei in front of everyone. If Yi Fei didn't accept, he would definitely be looked down upon by all the disciples present. It would be even better if Yi Fei accepted. Ouyang Jie had a secret that most people didn't know about. This wasn't his first time entering the Fei Memorial Pagoda. 3 years ago, Ouyang Jie had actually participated in the Holy Land assessment, but he had stopped at the 5th stage. No one knew better than him how difficult the 5th stage was. However, Ouyang Jie had refused to join the Holy Land because he hadn't passed it. Instead, he had decided to try again 3 years later and complete the assessment to wash away his humiliation. At the same time, Ouyang Jie felt that 3 years ago, he already had the strength to casually beat up Yi Fei. Now that 3 years had passed, it was almost impossible for Yi Fei to pass the 5th stage. Therefore, he had made such a vicious gamble. Chapter 113. Chapter 113. The man who has passed. How could I, Ouyang Jie, lose to you 2 pieces of trash? Ouyang Jie felt that Wang Bai's words were really ridiculous. Wang Bai smiled and shook his head. It's better to be safe than sorry. Let me ask you, if my brother passes the 5th stage, will you lose? After saying that, Wang Bai winked at Yi Fei with an expression that said, I'll take care of you. Seeing this, Yi Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fortunately, he had no intention of backing down, so he simply allowed Wang Bai to talk to Ouyang Jie. Ouyang Jie nodded and said, Okay, if he can really pass the 5th stage, then I'll consider it my loss. You can name any conditions you want. Ouyang Jie pretended to be magnanimous. In reality, 3 years ago, Ouyang Jie had failed to pass the 5th stage as a martial arts grandmaster. Now, Yi Fei was not even a martial arts grandmaster, and his talent was not as good as Ouyang Jie's. There was no chance for him to pass. All right, that's what you said. If you lose, my brother doesn't want anything else from you. He just wants all the cultivation resources you can get in the Holy Land for a year. Do you dare? No. In order to prevent you from going back on your word, we have to make a written agreement. As Wang Bai spoke, he really took out a pen and paper from his body and started writing. His actions made Ouyang Jie want to go up and hit him. He was the great young master Ouyang. How could he go back on his word? It's good to have a written agreement, in case you don't want to go back on your word. Ouyang Jie glanced at Yi Fei with a sinister smile, as if he had already won. Yi Fei returned his smile. His smile was very clean, and he did not reject this suggestion. In fact, Wang Bai's bet was quite to his liking. With Ouyang Jie's Earth Grade 5 talent, he would definitely be heavily nurtured by the sacred grounds. He would also receive more cultivation resources than other disciples. If he could take all of Ouyang Jie's cultivation resources and use them for his own cultivation, Yi Fei believed that his cultivation speed would definitely improve even faster. At this moment, he naturally wouldn't object to this proposal. Both parties signed a contract drafted by Wang Bai. Now, no one could go back on their word. The purple-robed elder sneered as he looked at Yi Fei. He shook his head and said, All right, now that no one has a problem, you can all enter the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Ouyang Jie also walked over to Yi Fei with a sinister smile. Trash, I really admire your courage. In the future, when you join the Taishan Holy Land, Remember to immediately kneel down and call yourself a slave when you see me." Yifei didn't get angry. Instead, he retorted sharply, "Those who always call others trash are actually the biggest trash. You think you're great with your Earth Grade 5 talent. When you meet those with Earth Grade 6 talent or higher, you'll know that you're nothing in front of them." When it came to bickering, even 10 Ouyang Jie wouldn't be a match for Yifei. Just these words made Ouyang Jie so angry that he was about to spit fire. Yifei acted as if nothing had happened. With his hands behind his back, he casually walked into the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Many disciples shook their heads as they watched. This kid, he's not stupid, is he? He clearly knows that he's going to lose, but he still agreed so easily. Who knows? Maybe he has given up because he has nothing left to lose. Don't worry about others. Let's work hard to pass the third round of the exam. These disciples discussed as they disappeared into the Demon Memorial Pagoda one by one. Ouyang Jie and Guman didn't dare to delay and also walked in as fast as they could. Bang! As the last disciple entered, the door of the Demon Memorial Pagoda instantly closed. It turned out that another purple-robed elder had appeared beside the purple-robed elder. He couldn't help but sigh when he heard the bet between Yifei and Ouyang Jie. "Senior brother Tianyin, why didn't you stop them from betting? After all, that person is also an Earth Grade talent. A talent is hard to come by. He's just an arrogant person. What kind of talent is he?" Among this group of disciples, only Ouyang Jie and Guman can be considered talents. "Junior brother Tian Xian, you should know the difference between Earth Grade 5 and Earth Grade 1st. Elder Tian Yin coldly said. Hearing his senior brother say this, Elder Tianxin also sighed. He shook his head and said, "Of course I know how big the gap is. Theoretically speaking, those who possess an Earth Grade Dantian have a chance of breaking through to Martial King in the future. However, the higher the grade, the greater the chance of breaking through. A Earth Grade 1st has a 10% chance of breaking through, but a Earth Grade 5th has a 50% chance of breaking through. Junior brother, since you know, then don't bother with this matter. Let Ouyang Jie do as he pleases. We've already given him a chance. It's just that that brat is too arrogant and refuses to lower his head." Elder Tian Yan's face was filled with displeasure. Clearly, he was still unhappy about Yifei's refusal to apologize. The Demon Memorial Pagoda was very mysterious. There were several hundred disciples participating in the exam this time. However, with so many people entering the Demon Memorial Pagoda, it was actually divided into several hundred independent spaces. And within these spaces, there were numerous demon beasts and resentful spirits. When they noticed someone entering, they immediately roared, wanting to pounce and bite Yifei. Yifei remained indifferent and didn't take the initiative to attack. After his experience with the Demon Ceiling Pagoda, he discovered that the Demon Memorial Pagoda in the Sacred Land was somewhat similar to the Demon Ceiling Pagoda. Strictly speaking, the Demon Memorial Pagoda was a weaker version of the Demon Ceiling Pagoda. The difference was that the Demon Ceiling Pagoda sealed the heroic spirits of martial experts, while the Demon Memorial Pagoda only sealed some low-level demon beasts. Roar! Yifei's ears were filled with the roars of demon beasts' remnant spirits. They rushed over from all directions, trying to tear apart Yifei, who had entered. If it were any other disciple participating in the exam, they might have already attacked and fought with these remnant spirits. However, Yifei knew that since the Demon Memorial Pagoda was similar to the Demon Ceiling Pagoda, then these trapped demon beasts must have the same ability as heroic spirits. That is infinite division. Poof! Yifei used his fingers like a sword and dodged the other demon beasts. At the same time, he sent out a sword aura that shattered the weakest demon beasts in front of him. That demon beasts immediately split into two and continued to charge forward without fear. It's indeed the same layout as the Demon Ceiling Pagoda. It seems that the Sacred Lands exam requires everyone to use their strength and intelligence to avoid the demon beasts and pass this stage as quickly as possible under the siege of numerous demon beasts. At the same time, under the siege of a large group of demon beasts, it was the best test of a person's combat ability and observation skills. I wonder if Wang Bai will be able to pass such a test. Yi Fei thought of Wang Bai, who was also participating in the exam. He shook his head and quickly walked to the end of the corridor. Along the way, there were demon beasts that attacked him with all their might. Yi Fei relied on the powerful defense of the war demon golden body and ignored the harassment of these demon beasts. In less than an incense stick's worth of time, he passed through the corridor and saw the stairs to the second floor of the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Yi Fei believed that he would be in the first batch to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Of course, these demon beasts were easy to deal with in Yi Fei's eyes. However, in the eyes of the other disciples, they were incomparably troublesome. Many of the disciples who didn't know that killing demon beasts would cause them to split up endlessly suffered a great loss. The more they killed, the more demon beasts that appeared to block them. This vicious cycle continued, and soon, large groups of disciples were blown out of the Demon Memorial Pagoda in an extremely sorry state. Seeing this, Elder Heavenflame's face turned ashen. He didn't even look at the eliminated disciples and coldly said, "You're not qualified. I'll give you an incense stick's worth of time to immediately leave the sacred land. You're not allowed to stay." Elder Heavenflame didn't think that over 100 people would be eliminated in just a short while. He was also annoyed and couldn't help but sigh. The current disciples are too weak. It seems that no one in our sacred land has been able to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda for 10 years. Haha, Heavenflame, that might not be the case this year. Aside from those disciples who are too talented and are directly sent into the inner court, I'm most optimistic about Guman and Ouyang Jie. Elder Heavenflame chuckled. Elder Heavenflame was also very optimistic about Guman and Ouyang Jie's talent. He couldn't help but nod his head and ponder. These two disciples are indeed very strong. Perhaps one of them will be able to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda. I just don't know if it will be Guman or Ouyang Jie. Is there even a need to ask? It will definitely be Ouyang Jie. This brat reached the 5th level 3 years ago. He's very ambitious and would rather wait another 3 years to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Now that 3 years have passed and Ouyang Jie has come prepared, perhaps he really has a chance to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda's test. Chapter 114. Who's number 1? Elder Tian Xian nodded and didn't say anything else. The two elders were looking forward to seeing Guman and Ouyang Jie's performance inside the Demon Memorial Tower. At this moment, Guman and Ouyang Jie's performance inside the Demon Memorial Tower was indeed extraordinary. Guman had already relied on his beast body's powerful defense to force his way through the 3rd floor. However, he saw that the door to the 4th floor had already been pushed open by someone. Guman's expression suddenly changed. He unwillingly shook his head and said, "Damn it, Ouyang Jie was still 1 step ahead of me. It seems that I can't hold back anymore. I must pass this trial and prove that I, Guman, am the number 1 genius." Although the Demon Memorial Tower had countless spaces and people couldn't see each other, there was only 1 stone door to each floor. Experts could see who had opened it first. Not long after Guman pushed open the door, another figure walked in as if he was taking a stroll. He seemed to be walking slowly, but was actually walking quickly. He completely ignored the surrounding demon spirits blocking his way. Seeing that the stone door had already been pushed open, Ouyang Jie wasn't surprised. He coldly snorted and said, "Humph, it must be that barbarian Guman. He used his beast body to get in front of me. So what if you have a beast body? You're just a brute who only knows how to use brute force. The next 4 trials will be easy for you." In any case, Ouyang Jie had already experienced the trial once. He clearly understood the Demon Memorial Tower very well. He didn't waste a single strand of Zhen Yuan in the first 3 trials. He was saving his strength so that he could use his full strength in the next 4 trials. In Ouyang Jie's opinion, Guman's brute force style was simply a waste of Zhen Yuan. There was simply no chance for him to pass. I just don't know how many trials that Brad Zhou Guang has passed. However, No matter what, he definitely won't be able to pass the 5th trial. Once he leaves, I'll properly humiliate him. Humph. Ouyang Jie clasped his hands behind his back and strode into the 4th trial, as if he had already won. At this moment, Yifei was also standing in front of the 5th stage's stone door with a bitter expression. Looking at the densely packed demon spirits inside, he sighed. This sacred ground assessment is really difficult. I've hidden so much of my strength, but I've only reached the 5th stage. If it was Gu Man and Ouyang Jie, they would have probably reached the 6th stage. In the end, he was different from Gu Man and Ouyang Jie. Yifei was a nobody who had climbed up step by step from small place. He didn't have a great teacher to guide him, nor did he have a powerful family to take care of him. He wasn't like Gu Man and Ouyang Jie, who knew the Demon Memorial Pagoda like the back of his hand. He could even determine who had entered before him just by looking at the clues. At the same time, Gu Man and Ouyang Jie would never have thought that while they were competing with each other, Yifei had already relied on his battle demon golden body to walk ahead of everyone else. Not only was he the first to pass the 4th stage, but he had also reached the 5th stage. However, when he reached the 5th stage, Yifei's battle demon golden body wasn't very useful. The demon spirits on this stage were all in the 1st martial ancestor realm. Yifei's battle demon golden body was only at the 1st stage. He wasn't afraid of the attacks of a martial master, but it would be very difficult for him to block the attacks of a martial ancestor realm with his battle demon golden body. However, when he thought of Ouyang Jie's vicious bet, Yifei's eyes couldn't help flashing with a cold light. I can only win this bet if I pass the 5th stage. Damn it. Even if it's just to vent my anger, I'll still give it a try. Taking a deep breath, Yifei lifted his foot and walked in. The martial ancestor realm demon spirits that were roaming around immediately pounced on Yifei. With so many demon spirits swarming him, even if the battle demon golden body's defense was strong, Yifei wouldn't be able to withstand it. Just as he took 50 steps forward, his battle demon golden body had already shattered. His entire body was in extreme pain from the demon spirit's attacks. If this continued, even if he wasn't killed by the demon spirits, he would definitely lose the qualifications to pass the assessment. Kill! Get out of my way! In a moment of desperation, Yifei couldn't care less. He could only pull out the Soul Devourer sword and quickly send the demon spirits flying. The Soul Devourer sword, a low-grade artifact, was of great help to Yifei. Every demon spirit that came close to him was sent flying by the Soul Devourer sword. In exchange, the demon spirits attacked even more crazily. Another characteristic of demon spirits was that they weren't afraid of death. The more they killed, the faster they split up. Yifei was already very careful. He only smacked them and didn't kill them. However, there were still a few demon spirits that deliberately ran into the Soul Devourer sword and chose to commit suicide. The demon spirit's eerie laughter before it died echoed throughout the demon memorial tower. After it died, its body split into 2 identical demon spirits and pounced on Yifei even more fiercely. Damn it, these demon spirits even know this move. If I let them continue to commit suicide, how the hell am I supposed to pass this stage? Yifei was very depressed. He knew that blindly dodging wouldn't work anymore. The final goal of the sacred ground that designed this demon memorial tower was to force the disciples in the assessment to have no choice but to fight the demon spirits head-on. Only the disciple that could emerge victorious in such a battle would be the most outstanding disciple. Seeing more and more demon spirits gathering around him, Yifei's face sank. Do I have to use the Devourer's sword intent now? But this is only the 5th stage. If I use it now, won't I be forced to use the Undying Sword Soul in the 6th stage? The Undying Sword Soul was Yifei's greatest secret. Unless he was forced into a desperate situation, he wouldn't use it easily. Kiki, in that moment of shock, Yifei's sword technique showed a slight flaw. A demon spirit took the opportunity to rush to his side. Its pitch-black claws were about to claw at Yifei's abdomen. If it really clawed at Yifei, his intestines would be ripped out. Yifei's face changed. He hurriedly activated the Devil Emperor scripture and fiercely punched out. Scram! His true yuan, which carried the aura of the divine fire, exploded. The demon spirit was sent flying. Its body emitted wisps of white smoke. It appeared to be terrified and didn't dare to approach again. Seeing this, Yi Fei's eyes lit up. These demon spirits seem to be afraid of my divine fire. Why didn't I think of that? Demon spirits are of the yin attribute, while divine fire is of the yang attribute. The divine fire might be able to restrain these demon spirits. Kill! Yi Fei's heart skipped a beat. He had already activated the true yuan in his body and turned it into a raging divine fire. He attached it to the Devourer's sword and swung it out. The effect was beyond his expectations. The fearless demon spirits retreated in fear after sensing the aura of the divine fire. They didn't dare to attack Yi Fei rashly. They only circled around him and let out angry screams. The divine fire is really the nemesis of demon spirits. Doesn't that mean that as long as I make good use of the divine fire in my body, I can pass this stage unscathed? Yi Fei's eyes lit up even more. He seized the opportunity and swung the Devourer's sword as he charged toward the stone door of the 6th stage. The surrounding demon spirits retreated. Other than letting out angry screams, none of the demon spirits dared to approach Yi Fei. It was the same for the demon spirits of the 6th stage. Although they were already at the martial arts Grandmaster realm, 2nd realm, their instinctive fear of the divine fire made them extremely unwilling to approach Yi Fei. Yi Fei was surprised to find that with the deterrence of the divine fire, he could do whatever he wanted among the demon spirits. Haha, does this count as a loophole in the Holy Land assessment? With the divine fire, perhaps I can pass all the stages without having to reveal my devouring sword essence and undying sword soul. Passing this stage was incomparably easy. For other disciples, the terrifying 5th and 6th stages were like looking at flowers on horseback. Yi Fei passed them without even making a move. If Ouyang Jie knew that Yi Fei passed the stage so easily, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Of course, even now, Ouyang Jie was also close to vomiting blood, because when he finally reached the 6th stage with incomparable difficulty, the entire Demon Memorial Pagoda suddenly emitted a bright light. Others might not know what this light meant, but Gu Man and Ouyang Jie's faces became incomparably ugly. It's Gu Man, damn it. He actually reached the last stage. Chapter 115. It was actually him. There was a rule in the demonic memorial pagoda of the Sacred Land. Once someone entered the 7th stage, the entire demonic memorial pagoda would shine brightly, signifying the birth of a genius worthy of being nurtured by the Sacred Land. Right now, Ouyang Jie and Guman had just entered the 6th stage, and they saw the demonic memorial pagoda shining brightly. How could they not be angry and jealous of each other? Guman, just you wait. Ouyang Jie, will definitely not let you be the first to pass. Ouyang Jie, don't think that I don't know that you tried the demonic memorial pagoda 3 years ago. Since you didn't succeed 3 years ago, I definitely won't let you succeed 3 years later either. Kill. Stimulated by the opening of the 7th stage, Guman and Ouyang Jie's eyes turned red. They both thought that the other party had entered the 7th stage first. They were both enraged and began to kill the demons blocking their way. They also wanted to enter the 7th stage as soon as possible and pass the stage. As for a small fry like Yi Fei, Guman, and Ouyang Jie, who were happily killing each other, had already forgotten about Jiao Xiao Yin Xiao. That trash is probably still in the 5th stage, struggling bitterly. Ouyang Jie tried his best to rush to the 7th stage as he ridiculed Yi Fei. Little did he know that Yi Fei was currently sitting in the middle of a group of demons in the 7th stage, staring at each other. Neither side dared to act rashly. After all, the demons in the 7th stage were all in the 3rd stage of the martial ancestor realm and seemed to have some intelligence. Although they were afraid of Yi Fei's divine flame, They unexpectedly discovered that this human who possessed the divine flame was very weak and might not be able to display the true power of the divine flame. These demons hesitated and decided to stay by Yi Fei's side, trying to find the best time to attack. Yi Fei didn't dare to act rashly. Aside from constantly waving the spirit-devouring sword to stop the demon spirits from approaching, he was also thinking quickly about how to use the extraterrestrial divine flame to continue scaring these demon spirits. After all, Yi Fei reckoned that he would be smashed into meat paste even if each of the martial ancestor realm level 3 demon spirits slapped him with their claws. The commotion from the demon memorial pagoda naturally couldn't be hidden from the elders and disciples waiting outside. At this time, the majority of the disciples had already finished their trials. Even the Earth-ranked geniuses had come out. Their best result was only passing the 4th trial. Right now, only Ouyang Jia, Guman, and Yi Fei remained inside the Demon Memorial Pagoda. Of course, due to Yi Fei's arrogant performance, Elder Tian Yin had even forgotten Yi Fei's appearance, let alone Yi Fei's name. Staring at the constantly glowing Demon Memorial Pagoda, the 2 elders only had Guman and Ouyang Jia in their eyes, the 2 geniuses they had high hopes for. Senior apprentice brother, this is really a great fortune for our holy land. After 10 years, someone is finally going to pass the Demon Memorial Pagoda. I just don't know if it's Guman or Ouyang Jia. Elder Tian Xin happily said, that goes without saying. This old man can bet that the one who passes this time will definitely be Ouyang Jia. After all, he has the advantage from 3 years ago. This is something that Guman can't compare to. Elder Tian Yin was incomparably certain. It was obvious that he was filled with confidence in Ouyang Jia. That might not be the case. Although Guman's talent isn't as good as Ouyang Jia's, that's because his beast body hasn't fully awakened. Once he fully awakens, he will definitely surpass Ouyang Jia. Another black-clothed elder noticed the commotion from the Demon Memorial Pagoda and flew over from afar. Tian Xin didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly bowed and said, "Greetings, senior apprentice brother Xian Mo." Elder Tian Yin also hurriedly bowed. Then he blew his beard and stared. He shook his head and said, "That will have to wait until he fully awakens. Right now, I still have high hopes for Ouyang Jia. With his strength, his chances of passing the trial are very high." Hearing this, Xian Mo was just about to say something. All of a sudden, Wang Bai leaned over and interrupted with dissatisfaction. "3 elders, you're looking down on people through the cracks of the door. My brother is also inside. Perhaps he can also pass the trial." The 3 elders jumped in fright. Where did this 4-browed fellow come from? They were too focused on the Demon Memorial Pagoda and didn't even notice him. Elder Tian Yin immediately recognized that Wang Bai was the disciple who had replaced Yi Fei and accepted Ouyang Jia's bet. He instantly lost all good feelings for Wang Bai and sternly shouted, "Disciple, did you not hear this old man's words? If you fail the trial, quickly leave the sacred land. You are not allowed to stay." "But elder, I've already passed the trial." Wang Bai very sneakily took out a token that said he had passed 3 trials. Elder Tian Yin was speechless. The other disciples were also speechless when they saw Wang Bai's dazzling 6th grade martial master cultivation. Many people didn't understand how Wang Bai passed the 3 trials with such a low cultivation. One had to know that there was a martial ancestor realm expert who failed the 3rd trial because his talent wasn't enough. He had no choice but to cry and leave the sacred land. Wang Bai was able to pass with such a low cultivation. He was simply a prodigy among the new disciples. Especially Wang Bai, he was even more of a prodigy. His 7th grade martial master brother wants to pass the trial? Is this guy here to be funny? But that person still hasn't come out. It's a bit strange. He probably knows that he can't pass the 5th trial, so he's hiding in a corner. He's too embarrassed to come out and embarrass himself. I only acknowledge senior brother Ouyang as the #1 candidate. Whoosh! While these disciples were discussing, there was movement from the Demon Memorial Pagoda. A figure covered in blood was blown out with an unwilling expression. As soon as he landed, he let out an unwilling roar. Damn it, damn it. I was just one step away from the 7th trial. Just one step away. It's Guman. He failed the trial. Then that means the only one who can pass is senior brother Oyang. When the new disciples saw the heavily injured Guman, they were all shocked. Soon after, they started discussing. Many of them were talking about Oyang Jia with respect. Elder Heavenly Flame was so happy that he wanted to jump up and down. He chuckled as he looked at Xian and Mo. Senior brother Xian and Mo, it seems like my eyesight is a bit higher than yours. Oomph. Xian and Mo didn't say anything. She walked in front of Guman and comforted him. Guman, don't be discouraged. Your beast body hasn't reached greater completion. You've already done your best to reach the 6th trial. Elder Heavenly Flame seemed to have some grudges with Xian and Mo. He deliberately announced the result in advance. Aside from Guman, Oyang Jia will be the number 1 in this trial. He will also be the first person to pass the trial in 10 years. Whoosh! Before Elder Sky Flame could finish his words, something unsightly happened. Another blood-stained figure was blown out of the Demon Memorial Pagoda. This person was none other than Oyang Jia. Guman, who was half kneeling on the ground, suddenly regained his spirit when he saw that his old rival had also failed the trial. After all, Oyang Jia had only lasted a little longer than him. Overall, their results weren't that different. Guman stood up and sneered. Oyang Jia, didn't you say that you would definitely pass the trial this year? I didn't think that you would still fail. Even if I failed, I would at least have reached the 7th trial. Oyang Jia's face was extremely ugly. However, when he thought about how even if he failed the trial, he would still be able to suppress Guman, he became proud again. Oyang Jia said arrogantly, even if I failed the trial, I would still be the number 1 disciple. Guman, you still lost to me. You. Guman's eyes widened, but he couldn't do anything about it. Elder Heavenly Flame was slightly disappointed that Oyang Jia didn't pass the trial. However, when he thought about how rare it was for Oyang Jia to reach the 7th trial, he became happy and comforted Oyang Jia. Oyang Jia, don't be discouraged. It's not that you didn't work hard, it's just that the Demon Memorial Pagoda's trial was too difficult. Since you reached the 7th trial, I will ask the higher-ups and give you the half-talent crystal as a reward for becoming the number 1 disciple. Oyang Jia was overjoyed and hurriedly looked at Elder Heavenly Flame with gratitude. Many thanks, Elder. This disciple will not forget Elder's nurturing. Haha, no problem, no problem. This was the effect that Elder Heavenly Flame wanted. After all, with Oyang Jia's talent, it was very likely that Oyang Jia would surpass him in the future. Now that he had a good relationship with Oyang Jia, it was very beneficial for him as an outer court elder. Elder Heavenly Flame's attitude made Wang Bai unable to continue watching. Thus, he walked up and said, Elder, aren't you looking down on people too much? My brother is still inside. How can you announce the result? It was that 4-eyebrow thing again. Where did it come from? Elder Heavenly Flame was furious. He pointed at Wang Bai and shouted, Impudent! Do you have the right to interrupt when we elders are speaking? Furthermore, even Guman and Oyang Jia, these 2 geniuses, couldn't pass the trial. Who else can pass the trial? Is there something wrong with your head? Senior brother, something's not right. It seems like there really is someone passing the trial. Look, the Demon Memorial Pagoda is still lit up. Elder Heavenly Flame interrupted. He was the first to notice the anomaly in the Demon Memorial Pagoda, and he was incomparably shocked. Elder Heavenly Flame raised his head and was immediately dumbfounded. How can this be? Even Oyang Jia and Guman, these 2 geniuses, failed. Who is it that is still passing the trial? Elder Heavenly Flame and Elder Xian and Mo couldn't believe it. Could it really be him? Chapter 116. Yifei. Inside the Demon Pagoda, Yifei was still playing a staring game with a group of demons. Both of them were giving each other the fiercest glances, hoping to scare off their opponents. Unfortunately, the gap between the two parties was too big. Yao Ling was afraid of Yi Fei's extraterrestrial divine flame, while Yi Fei was also afraid of Yao Ling's martial ancestor realm third stage attack. This was what it meant to hit a snake with a hemp stick, afraid of both sides. Yi Fei was even more worried that if he continued to delay like this, it would give Ouyang Jie and Gu Man an opportunity to take advantage of him. After all, in Yi Fei's opinion, with Gu Man and Ouyang Jie's strength, as well as Ouyang Jie's ruthless words, they had a very high chance of passing the seventh test. Of course, if Yi Fei knew that he had rushed into the seventh trial too quickly, causing the Ouyang Jie and Gu Man to lose their composure and lose the chance to enter the seventh trial, he would not be so worried. The key point was that Yi Fei didn't know about it all. Naturally, he had to worry, especially since Ouyang Jie had made a very vicious bet with him. It had been a long time since the demon spirit attacked him. They had no intention of dispersing. Yi Fei finally ended this boring staring game impatiently. We can't delay any longer. Come on, let's fight head-on. Yi Fei waved his spirit-devouring sword and decided to bite the bullet and charge forward. Seeing the spirit-devouring swords burning with divine flames from beyond the heavens, the demon spirits screamed and retreated. Their actions confirmed Yi Fei's judgment. These demon spirits were intelligent. However, with intelligence, things were much easier. This meant that they also knew fear and were afraid of death. They were much easier to deal with compared to the demon spirits in the lower levels. After pondering for so long, Yi Fei had already thought of a good countermeasure to scare the demon spirit. Demon spirit, die. Divine fire from beyond the heavens. Incinerate gods and demons. Yi Fei suddenly let out a low roar. The extraterrestrial divine flame that was wrapped around the devouring soul sword suddenly engulfed Yi Fei. It looked very powerful. Actually, this was just Yi Fei scattering the outer divine fire on his body. Although it looked powerful, its attack power had actually decreased. He was gambling. Since the Holy Land dared to use these demon spirits to test new disciples, then even if they had intelligence, it wouldn't be too high. If his bluff works, then he'll be able to smoothly pass the seventh stage. If he can't scare these demon spirits, or if the demon spirits see through his bluff, then there's only one outcome for Yi Fei. He'll be heavily injured by the demon spirits, and then be kicked out of the tower. Roar! When they discovered that Yi Fei's entire body was burning with divine flames, the demon spirits on the seventh floor were all shocked and furious. No, impossible. This old man remembers that disciple is only in the seventh stage of the martial master realm. How did he pass the seventh test? There must be a mistake somewhere. Outside the demon memorial tower, Elder Heavenflame couldn't believe this fact. He stared at the demon memorial tower and refused to admit that he had made a mistake. He might have missed a genius more powerful than Ouyang Jie. Junior brother Heavenflame, that's hard to say. Didn't you just pat your chest and say that Ouyang Jie would definitely pass? Now it seems that your eyesight isn't that good. This time, it was Elder Xianmo's turn to be proud. Although he was optimistic that his Gu Man didn't pass, Elder Heavenflame was optimistic that Ouyang Jie didn't pass either. Xianmo, Elder Heavenflame's body trembled in anger. He was about to fly into a rage out of humiliation. However, he didn't know that Ouyang Jie, who was standing on the side, had an ashen face. One had to know that Ouyang Jie was the one who said that he had passed the test. But this time, not only did he not pass, he was also publicly slapped in the face by Elder Xianmo. How could Ouyang Jie not be angry? Gu Man was also very unconvinced. He hesitated and said, Elder, could it be that someone else passed the test? That kid is only in the seventh stage of the martial master realm. There's no reason for him to directly reach the seventh test. Yes, it must be some other expert who passed the test. Perhaps there's a low-key, super genius hiding in the crowd and not being discovered by us. Ouyang Jie was like a drowning person who found the last life-saving straw. It was rare for him to have the same opinion as Gu Man. All of a sudden, Wang Bai appeared beside Ouyang Jie with his 4 eyebrows raised. Oh Yangjia, you finally know that my brother is a hidden super genius. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and take out your cultivation resources for this year. Let me, your older brother, keep them for my brother. Wang Bai, you're courting death. Ouyang Jie felt that this guy with 4 eyebrows was too annoying. He was simply a wretch that needed to be beaten up every time he saw him. Already angry, Ouyang Jie decided to beat Wang Bai up in front of everyone. At this time, the Demon Memorial Pagoda suddenly shook. The tightly closed door was once again forcefully opened. He's out. Gu Man's eyes widened as he stared at the entrance. Please don't let it be that trash. Even if it's him, we can't let him pass. Ouyang Jie couldn't care less about Wang Bai. He couldn't wait for Yi Fei to immediately be like him, seriously injured and forcefully blown out by the Demon Memorial Pagoda. However, what Ouyang Jie hoped for didn't happen. The door opened, and Yi Fei walked out with a face full of fear. Behind him, he could faintly hear the angry screams of the demons after they realized that they had been deceived. However, no matter how much these demons screamed, Yi Fei had smoothly passed the 7th level. This also meant that Yi Fei was another disciple of the Taishian's sacred ground who had completely passed the 7th level in 10 years. How could it be him? When he saw that Yi Fei had walked out of the Demon Memorial Pagoda instead of being blown out, Elder Tianyan's turbid old eyes almost popped out of their sockets. In order to prevent his eyes from being dazzled, this old man rubbed his eyes hard. Senior brother, it seems that you really made a mistake this time. Elder Tianyan shook his head and smiled bitterly. He hadn't expected that Yi Fei would be able to pass the assessment, especially when he saw that Yi Fei had not only been full of energy when he came out, but there wasn't even a trace of fight on his body. Elder Xianmo was so shocked that his mouth was wide open and he couldn't speak for a long time. It's really him. This guy hit so deeply. Gu Man clenched his fists so tightly that they made cracking sounds. He felt that he had been deceived. Yi Fei was obviously very strong, yet he had actually pretended to be a 7th level martial master to deceive him. That's impossible. How could it be him? How could it be this piece of trash? Ouyang Jie's face was as red as blood, and his voice was trembling as he spoke. Ouyang Jie wasn't the only one who was shocked. When the disciples present saw that Yi Fei had actually cleared the level without a single injury, many of them felt their hearts tremble. Actually, you don't have to be shy. If you like it, just shout it out loud. No one will laugh at you. Everyone, look, Ouyang Jie is so shy that his face is red. He is really a sentimental person. Wang Bai had already started clapping. However, the sound of his clapping was ear-piercing to everyone's ears. It was like an invisible slap to Ouyang Jie's and Elder Tianyan's faces. As Wang Bai spoke, Ouyang Jie's face changed from blood red to the color of a pig's liver and then to the color of an eggplant. He could be considered the king of face changes. When Yi Fei saw this, he couldn't help but say, Ouyang Jie, your face really changes. Looks like you all cleared the level before me. Chapter 117. You lost. Yi Fei had been staring at the demons in the Demon Memorial Pagoda, so he didn't know that Gu Man and Ouyang Jie had been affected by him. They thought that the other party had rushed into the 7th stage, so their hearts were in a mess and they had already failed the stage. He saw that the 2 of them were covered in blood and were heavily injured. He thought that since they had fought so hard, they must have already passed the stage, so he asked, how could he have known that he would unintentionally poke at their sore spot? Gu Man didn't have much prejudice against Yi Fei, so he could barely endure it. Ouyang Jie was burning with jealousy. The anger in his heart was about to explode. Elder, he must have cheated. Even I, a martial ancestor realm 3rd stage genius, couldn't pass. How could he, a trash in the martial master realm, pass? This is blatant cheating. Ouyang Jie boasted that he was a genius, so he definitely couldn't accept the fact that he had lost to Yi Fei. He also didn't believe that Yi Fei could pass the stage with such a low strength. Trash, you're really cunning. You couldn't beat me in a direct confrontation, so you actually cheated in the exam. Elder, this kind of person must be severely punished. Ouyang Jia still wanted to support Elder Heavenly Flame, who thought highly of him. Shut up. Ouyang Jia, do you think we elders are idiots? You cheated in front of us? Did water enter your brain? You keep saying that others are trash, but you can't even pass the stage. Aren't you worse than trash? Poor Ouyang Jia. He originally wanted to cooperate with the elders to find evidence of Yi Fei's cheating. Who knew that he would receive a scolding from Elder Heavenly Flame instead? Ouyang Jia was in a bad mood. He stood there dumbfounded, so angry that he couldn't speak. After Elder Heavenly Flame finished scolding Ouyang Jia, he quickly walked over to Yi Fei and said in a pleasant manner, "Haha, you're a very good young man. You know how to keep a low profile, unlike some people who think they can look down on the world just because they have a bit of talent. In fact, they're just frogs at the bottom of a well." Yi Fei was speechless when he heard this. He thought to himself that the older the ginger, the spicier it was. Speaking of Elder Heavenly Flame's face-changing speed, Ouyang Jia couldn't even catch up with him. At the very least, Ouyang Jia's change in expression was still traceable. Elder Heavenly Flame was different. The speed at which he changed his expression had already reached the pinnacle. When he found out that Ouyang Jia was a genius, he tried his best to side with Ouyang Jia. Realizing that Yi Fei was more talented than Ouyang Jia, Elder Heavenly Flame decided to throw away his pride and immediately sided with Yi Fei. Yi Fei found it difficult to deal with such a shameless old man. He could only reluctantly nod his head and ask, "Elder, what about the reward for clearing the stage?" "Haha, don't worry. Our holy land takes special care of geniuses who can clear the stage." "Ouyang Jia, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and hand over the talent crystal." Elder Heavenly Flame turned his head and scolded Ouyang Jia again. He no longer had the appreciation and affection he had for Ouyang Jia at the beginning. Instead, he scolded Ouyang Jia until his balls hurt. Before he could react, the talent crystal was snatched away by Elder Heavenly Flame. He smiled and handed it to Yi Fei, saying, "Here, this is the talent crystal. Since you can clear the stage, you are the #1 disciple in this assessment. You are the well-deserved newcomer king of our holy land." Newcomer king. Newcomer king. There were already some disciples who were considering switching camps. They decided to curry favor with Yi Fei in the future. As for Ouyang Jia, who cared about Ouyang Jia now? This made Ouyang Jia furious. The talent crystal was snatched away by Yi Fei, and the title of newcomer king was also snatched away. How could the proud and arrogant Ouyang Jia tolerate this? The worst thing was that even Elder Xianmo, who was passing by, was interested in Yi Fei. She walked over and asked in a friendly manner, "Your disciple is so weak. How did he pass the assessment?" "Elder, I used the extraterrestrial divine flame to scare away the demon spirit. That's how I could walk out unscathed," Yi Fei said honestly. This matter couldn't be hidden at all. Elder Xianmo was extremely shocked. Then, she was pleasantly surprised. "What? You have the extraterrestrial divine flame in your body? Could it be that you have the rare divine flame physique?" "No, Elder. I only have an ordinary physique. Due to certain reasons, I was lucky enough to fuse with the extraterrestrial divine flame," Yi Fei said honestly. There was nothing to hide. "So you fused with it after birth. What a pity, what a pity. The extraterrestrial divine flame has a great effect on special physiques. It's a waste to use it on an ordinary physique like yours." Elder Xianmo's mood changed from joy to sorrow. Originally, he thought that Yi Fei was quite pleasing to the eye. He thought that he was a good kid. But when he heard that Yi Fei had a trash physique and even fused with a treasure like the extraterrestrial divine flame, he didn't like Yi Fei anymore. His attitude also became cold. He grabbed Guman and flew into the sky without saying anything. He didn't even bother to say a word to Yi Fei. Elder Heavenly Flame's pleasant expression also became ugly at this time. He stared at Yi Fei and asked seriously, "So, you didn't use your own strength to pass the test? Instead, you relied on the extraterrestrial divine flame to take advantage of the situation and luckily pass the test? So what Ouyang Jia said was true. You actually openly cheated in our Holy Land's test." The speed at which Elder Heavenly Flame's face changed Yi Fei's view of the world. It could be said that he had opened his eyes. He didn't say anything. Wang Bai suddenly appeared beside Elder Heavenly Flame. He patted his shoulder and said, "Elder, my brother doesn't like what you're saying. There's no rule in the Holy Lands test that says you can't use the extraterrestrial divine flame to pass the test, right? It's you with 4 eyebrows again. Scram! Don't ever appear beside this elder again." Elder Heavenly Flame was furious. But what Wang Bai said was the truth. He couldn't find an excuse to punish Yi Fei. But in a hurry to mend his relationship with Ouyang Jie, Elder Heavenly Flame couldn't care less. He coldly snorted and said, "Humph, your actions of taking advantage of a loophole in the test is cheating in my eyes. How about this? Didn't you make a ridiculous bet with Ouyang Jie? I'll make the decision to nullify that bet. Treat it as your punishment." Yi Fei was furious when he heard this. How could he not understand that this shameless old man wanted to sacrifice him to mend his relationship with Ouyang Jie? How could he let this old man have his way? At this time, it also proved how important it was to have a written agreement when making a bet. Yi Fei took out the written agreement and shook his head helplessly. "Elder, this isn't something you can decide. It's written clearly in black and white. There are also hundreds of disciples as witnesses. Ouyang Jie, you lost, so you have to admit it. Don't tell me you want to go back on your word." Yi Fei ignored the elder and turned to look at Ouyang Jie. "This is your last chance to reconcile with me. Don't go too far." Ouyang Jie gritted his teeth. His handsome face was slightly distorted with anger. If he had known that Yi Fei would cheat to pass the test, he wouldn't have made such a vicious bet with Yi Fei. It had to be known that that was an entire year's worth of cultivation resources. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. How could Ouyang Jie be willing to hand it over? "I've said it. Let me ask you, don't you think it's too much to call those who are inferior to you trash, and want me to kneel before you and call myself a slave?" Chapter 118. Good brothers are loyal to each other. Do you admit it or not? Wang Bai also shouted loudly. All the disciples present turned their eyes to Ouyang Jie. Some of them had already begun to talk about it. Yi Fei felt that Wang Bai was really scheming. His questioning made Ouyang Jie lose face even if he admitted to it. However, when he thought about how Ouyang Jie had provoked him time and time again and the vicious bet from before, Yi Fei had no sympathy for Ouyang Jie. He shook the receipt forcefully in front of Ouyang Jie again. Ouyang Jie was so angry that his entire body started to tremble. He pointed at Yi Fei and blood started to seep out of the corner of his mouth. Ouyang Jie was trying his best to endure, and it was very difficult for him to endure. However, it was written clearly in black and white. Ouyang Jie had no excuse to deny it. Good, you are ruthless. Ouyang Jie, will remember you. Isn't it just a year's worth of cultivation resources? Ouyang Jie, can still afford to lose." Ouyang Jie pretended to be magnanimous, but in fact his heart was bleeding. After all, that was a year's worth of cultivation resources. Even if Ouyang Jie was a martial arts grandmaster, he was so angry that his stomach was about to explode. Ouyang Jie glared coldly at Yi Fei before he turned around and left. He didn't want to stay in this humiliating place any longer. At the same time, in his heart, Ouyang Jie already considered Yi Fei and Wang Bai dead. "You two pieces of trash, just you wait. If I don't kill you in the Holy Land, I'm not Ouyang Jie." Ouyang Jie's face was ashen as he quickly left. Along the way, not a single disciple dared to stop him. They all lowered their heads and moved to the side, afraid of offending him. In the end, although the Ouyang Jie didn't pass the level this time, he still reached the threshold of the 7th level. Among the new disciples, Ouyang Jie's strength was obvious to all. Other than Guman, no one dared to provoke him. Of course, Yi Fei was an exception. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, Yi Fei naturally wouldn't be polite to Ouyang Jie. He deliberately waited until Ouyang Jie finished his harsh words. thinking that it was over and wanted to leave. Suddenly, Yi Fei said coldly, "Stop right there. Ouyang Jia, you seem to have forgotten something." "Trash, what do you mean? I've already promised to give you a year's worth of cultivation resources. What else do you want?" Ouyang Jia turned around. His eyes were bloodshot. If this wasn't the Holy Land, he would definitely chop Yi Fei into pieces. Yi Fei didn't get angry when he heard this. He just said indifferently, "You can't even pass the level? You have a nerve to call others trash. Ouyang Jia, let me ask you, why aren't you handing over the earth rank pills in your hands? How long are you going to keep pinching them?" This was the main reason why Yi Fei called out to Ouyang Jia. Wang Bai also shook the agreement and said to Ouyang Jia in a very irritating manner, "It's written in black and white. Your cultivation resources for this year will all belong to my brother. Of course, that includes the rewards you get after you pass the test. Are you really going to be so ruthless?" Ouyang Jia's eyes were not only red, but even his hair was standing on end. "The ruthless one isn't me, it's you. Let me ask you one thing. Are you going to give me the earth rank pills or not?" Yi Fei wasn't threatened by Ouyang Jia at all. "Roar!" Ouyang Jia suddenly roared in anger. His terrifying aura shook the nearby disciples and sent them flying backward, vomiting blood. The bottle of earth rank pills that Ouyang Jia got after passing the 6th level flew toward Yi Fei at lightning speed. Ouyang Jia pointed at Yi Fei with a ferocious expression and said, "You two are very good. You better not run into me in the Holy Land in the future. Let's go." Ouyang Jia was so angry that his footsteps were a little shaky. He quickly left with his group of followers. His losses this time were too great. Not only did he lose a year's worth of cultivation resources, but even the earth rank pills that he used to pass the 6th level were given to Yi Fei. If Ouyang Jia continued to stay, he would really vomit blood from anger. The other disciples also avoided Yi Fei like the plague. Only Wang Bai was still there. He put his arm around Yi Fei's shoulder and said, "Brother, this time we worked together to scam Ouyang Jia of such a large amount of resources. How do you think we should split them?" Everyone else was afraid of offending Shao Chun and incurring Ouyang Jia's hatred. Only Wang Bai did not mind calling Shao Chun his brother. A friend in need was a friend indeed. Yi Fei was a good man. Yi Fei was worthy of being friends with him. Thus, he put his arm around Wang Bai's shoulder and said, "Well said. We have gone through thick and thin together. Of course, we can share wealth. My resources are your resources. Brother Wang, take this talent crystal." Yi Fei didn't hesitate and immediately handed the talent crystal to Wang Bai. After all, he still had a certain amount of strength. It wouldn't be easy for Ouyang Jia to take revenge on him. However, Wang Bai was different. He was in the 6th stage of the martial master realm. He was definitely the weakest among the new disciples. Practically anyone could bully him. Yi Fei wanted to use the talent crystal to raise the quality of Wang Bai's dantian. Only then could he avoid Ouyang Jia's revenge. As soon as the talent crystal appeared, Wang Bai's eyes lit up. Yi Fei was speechless when he realized that the talent crystal in his hand had been grabbed by Wang Bai at lightning speed and swallowed it with a gulp. Then, all 4 of his eyebrows twitched as he complained. "This talent crystal isn't much. It's hard to chew, and it doesn't have much taste." "Damn, how can you eat it so quickly when it doesn't have much taste?" Yi Fei felt that Wang Bai was naturally asking for a beating. Fortunately, this talent crystal might be important to others. However, to Yi Fei, who possessed the undying sword soul, it was dispensable. Seeing Wang Bai eat the talent crystal, Yi Fei kindly reminded him, "Brother Wang, are you going to swallow it just like that? Aren't you going to refine it and raise the quality of your dantian?" Wang Bai smiled and burped. "There's no need to rush. It's just a talent crystal. Big brother here can eat 10 or 8 of them and won't have much of a reaction. I just saw that this is a token of your goodwill and reluctantly ate a piece." Yi Fei broke out in a sweat. He really didn't know how to respond. He simply lifted his feet and was about to leave to handle the relevant procedures of becoming a new disciple. Wang Bai looked around and saw that there was no one around. Suddenly, he blinked and pulled Yi Fei. "Brother, don't go. We're good brothers, and we're loyal. I want to eat this talent crystal for free. I'll reluctantly tell you about the hidden benefits of the Holy Land's newcomer king. Hidden benefits? What's that? The elder didn't seem to mention it just now. Yifei was very puzzled. Those elders must have grown their eyes on dogs. It's their loss that they didn't discover super geniuses like us brothers. They deliberately didn't tell you. But it's okay. I'll tell you. Wang Bai proudly raised all four of his eyebrows. He moved closer to Yi Fei mysteriously and whispered in his ear, "According to the information I received, the Taishian sacred ground has a rule. Any newcomer king who passes the test can enter the skills hall and obtain an earth-level martial arts technique for free." What? An earth-level martial arts technique? Yifei was really shocked. Tianyan Wufu also had an earth-level martial arts technique, but there was only one. Historically, only the schoolmaster could cultivate it. The old schoolmaster couldn't pass it on to Yifei, even if he wanted to. He didn't expect that he would be able to obtain an earth-level martial arts technique just by passing the test once in the sacred ground. No wonder Ouyang Jia and Gu Man were so desperate to pass the test. Damn Elder Tianyan. He didn't even tell me before he left. Yifei was very angry. Elder Tian Yen had done this to deliberately make things difficult for him. Even if he did use some tricks when he passed the test, the elders of the sacred ground couldn't look down on him like this. Strength is the most important thing, no matter where you are. If you have strength, others will respect you. If you don't have strength, anyone could step on your head. Yifei clenched his fists tightly. These elders of the sacred ground were really king realistic. Brother, don't be angry. It's not worth getting angry over people like that. If the elders won't take you to the achievements hall, I'll take you there. As long as you have the clearance token, you can still enter and choose the martial arts technique you like, Wang Bai said. Yifei suddenly remembered that when he passed the test, there seemed to be a token that flew into his hand. It must be the clearance token for the newcomer king. Fortunately, Wang Bai knew about it. Otherwise, he would have suffered a great loss this time. Then, Yifei began to wonder, "Brother Wang, why do I feel that you know a lot about the Taishian sacred ground? You know everything that you shouldn't know." Yifei looked at Wang Bai seriously again. Other than finding that this guy's four eyebrows raised was very funny, he didn't find anything special about him. If there was anything special about him, it was that Wang Bai's strength was first from the bottom, but Yifei still couldn't bear to hate him. This was also why he was so generous and gave the talent crystal to Wang Bai directly. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.